huge crowd here on hand today at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, Iowa, as the Hawkeyes start to make their way out on the field. And hi, everybody. Along with Dick Vermeil, I'm Roger Twibell. The Iowa Hawkeyes come off a tremendous victory, Dick, a week ago against Penn State. As a matter of fact, Hayden Fry called it one of the biggest victories of his career. They did it without Cedric Shaw. They're not going to have to try to do it today without Cedric Shaw.
Well, Cedric Shaw is back, and whenever you get the leading rusher in the history of the school back, it's going to help your offense. But really, I think if they're going to be successful offensively today, it's not going to be because of Cedric Shaw. The coaches think the same thing. They're going to have to get the ball in the hands of their skilled receivers, specifically Tim Dwight. Now, Timmy last week returned a punt that made the difference in the win against Penn State, 83-yard touchdown. He's a big playmaker. The more he touches the ball, the more successful they'll be.
Ohio State, of course, lost a lot of offensive firepower from a year ago, including Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George, but they haven't lost much on the offensive side of the ball this year.
Well, Pepe Pearson steps in and takes right over. He has scored 2 more touchdowns than their Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George did last year at the same time. Now, he's not a Heisman Trophy winner, but running behind that real good offensive line, he's a talented guy.
And what a freshman Andy Katzenmoyer is.
He's the only true freshman to ever start the linebacker position for the Buckeyes, and they're playing better defense today because he's in there than they did last year at the same time.
And they returned 10 starters on defense. He just rounded things out, and he has been tremendous. As we take a look at the Big Ten today, Northwestern now has gone ahead of Illinois in a seesaw battle. Little few precious seconds remaining in that game. Penn State has now come from behind. They lead Indiana 34-20. Michigan State over Wisconsin in the fourth quarter. And tonight, another matchup between Michigan and Minnesota. So the standings, Northwestern, Ohio State, and Iowa unbeaten in the Big Ten. And that makes this game today one of the very best matchups so far this year in the Big Ten Conference. Iowa, Hayden Fry, John Cooper, and Ohio State. And we'll be back with a kickoff in a moment. Back at Kinnick Stadium, let's go to Jack Arute. Jack?
Well, Roger, as we watch the outcome of that Northwestern game and how close it is, it's a reminder of what we might have here today. Both of these teams unbeaten, but neither of them at the present time on top of the Big Ten. Now for Hayden Fry, 18 years here in Iowa, always a guy that's known to go and try something new. He says he's going to try it today.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. Iowa won the toss. They deferred Ohio State to receive the kickoff, but the whistle was blown, and it looked like they're going to bring it back and do it all over again. Dick Honig, the referee today. So apparently the kick was done without the referee, Dick Honig, being ready. So they'll do it all over again. Brian Hurley, a 6'4", 250-pounder. He's got a tremendous leg.
Oh, in the pregame warm-ups, he was kicking 50-yard field goals into the bleachers. The ball was going over the top of the goalpost. Strong leg.
Demetrius Stanley, number 3. Sean Springs, 24, back deep. Ohio State second in the nation in kickoff returns with an average of 32.1 a return, but they've only had to return 7 kicks.
They won't probably get to return this because I know Iowa's game plan is to pooch kick it. Don't get it back in the hands of the 2 return people.
And we are officially underway, and they send it deep. Sean Springs in the end zone. We're down it there. They'll bring it to the 20. And let's go to New York and John Saunders.
Roger, thanks a lot. Northwestern trying to do it once again with a come-from-behind victory. Now, this is 4th and 5. Steve Schnur to Brian Musso picks up the first down, 9 yards on the play. Then 3 plays later, it's Adrian Autry, his second rushing touchdown of the game. He has 128 yards, and they take the lead. They also just intercepted Illinois. Roger.
All right, John, thank you very much. Man,
they are something unbelievable. Every time I'm in a booth Saturday afternoon, we watch a replay of them coming from behind.
They are leading a charmed life, but good teams make good things happen. On 1st and 10 from the 20, they hand off to Pepe Pearson. Tries the left side, maybe gets a yard, and that swarming black-shirted Iowa defense was over there. Tom Knight, Damian Robinson. As you take a look at Stanley Jackson, he is a very efficient quarterback, so the numbers bear it out. 5th in the NCAA in passing efficiency, 2nd in the Big Ten, 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And the Chili's backs and receivers, Demetrius Stanley in the last 3 games, 20 receptions and 4 touchdowns. David Foster, the freshman, number 9, getting his 2nd consecutive start. On 2nd down and 9. That's the big tight end, John Lumpkin, who is in motion. Jackson's got to run with it. Now he flips it behind the intended receiver, Pepe Pearson, and incomplete. Good pressure that time by DeVries and Aaron Klein, and it's a final now. Northwestern once again. They hold off Illinois 27-24 the final. They are unbeaten in Big Ten Conference play.
Well, that's the one thing about Pepe Pearson. You know, he's so mobile. He's tough to sack.
And the offensive line, you know, Pace gets all the notoriety, but Juan Porter is one fine football player.
Yes, he is. You know, and he was the second best offensive lineman last year. He was a little bit banged up early, but he plays well. A center has to play well.
3rd down, 9 yards to go. And he's nailed. Guess who? Jared DeVries, his 8th sack of the year.
He got inside LaShawn Daniels to the right side of your screen. Number 57 sets up, and he gets beat underneath. See, a guard should never get beat underneath. He should tackle him at that point if he knows he's going to get beat underneath. Get called for holding, but don't give up the sack.
Now the punting situation. Bartholomew back on the goal line. 45.4 average, the best in the Big Ten. Tim Dwight.
Lousy punt.
And it is off the side of his foot. That's going to come out about the 35-yard line. They bring it back all the way to the 32-yard line. So Iowa will have tremendous field position as they get their first offensive possession of the game. Their quarterback, Matt Sherman, a junior from St. Ansgar, Iowa. 15-5 as a starter here for the Hawkeyes. 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and the Chili's backs and receivers. And are they glad to have Cedric Shaw back? 28 career touchdowns.
Oh, I know it. 3,489 career yards. Every time he carries the ball, he sets a new record.
That was an 18-yard punt that time by the Big Ten's leading punter. Pitch back. Not much going there. Shaw driven out of bounds, maybe lost a yard. Damon Moore was the man that came up to make the tackle. As we go up front for Iowa, 3 new starters this year, including 5th-year senior Bill Reardon.
Well, you know, Billy has been working his way up there, waited. He walked on, you know, Raj. It wasn't automatically given to him. He just worked hard, fundamentally improved as the seasons went on, and here he is starting as a 5th-year senior.
And there's the front 7, and Luke Fickle, they call him Tugboat. Why? He just keeps going and going. 45 consecutive starts.
And he's always helping somebody else.
2nd down and 10. Motion man was Damon Gibson.
Fumble the ball.
Sherman has fumbled it. Now he picks it up. He's got room to the right. Finally throws it, gets it away, and they got a gain right there. Knipper, the tight end, makes the reception, and sometimes a disaster can turn out to smell like a rose.
What he did, he seated the ball in the running back's stomach to try to make a real good run fake, and he got it caught there as he pulled it out. The ball ended up on the turf. You'll see what I'm talking about. Right side of your screen, extended ball, then it drops on the ground. Poised now under pressure. He picks it up. He's trying to locate a receiver downfield. Finally, he finds one right before pressure, gets it off. 3rd and 3.
Remember what Fred Pudgick told us last night? They'd like to keep him in the pocket. They don't want him running.
They don't want him out there. And they have a man spying on him as well.
3rd down and 4 at the 26-yard line. That was Shaw in motion to the near side. Now they're trying to go underneath. They got the pass.
Pick.
Owens, penalty markers down.
I think they're going to call him for a pick. See, against man-to-man coverage, one of the offensive principles you use is a rub-off where two receivers cross closely and try to rub the defender off. You'll see it, boom, right there. They'll call that if they see it. Now, it's not called very often, but it was glaring. They had to call that. Good job of officiating. Now, Ohio State has those same principles within their game plan today. It was just too glaring a pick. It was more than a rub-off. It was a knockdown.
And the secondary, Dick, for Ohio State. Keep an eye on Rob Kelly. An interception and a fumble return for a touchdown last week against Purdue.
Very, very smart football player.
So they did see it. They did call it. And the ball will be moved back to about the 31-yard line.
You know, as good as this offense is, the worst thing they've been doing is third down conversion, down under 32%. You'd like to be up in the 40s as an offensive team, especially if you think you're pretty good and you're trying to convert against one of the better defenses in the country. 3rd and 8 is a long ways to go against the Buckeyes.
3rd and 8, that very familiar Iowa stand-up tight end is
Here's blitz.
Sherman's going to go deep. Can he get it far enough? Just over the outstretched hands. And looking for a call. Gibson immediately got up, looked at the official. Antoine Winfield was back there.
Very good coverage this time by Winfield. You know, they got a little pressure on him initially. Steps up inside. He lets it go over the outside shoulder like it to go. It's tight coverage all the way downfield. They blitzed, as we called earlier. He just overthrew it. If he doesn't overthrow it, he gets the 6-pointer.
Field goal attempt right now for Iowa as Brian Hurley, their long kicker, comes on. They'll spot it at the 37, make it a 47-yard attempt with the wind to his back. Hurley 1 of 4 from 40 to 49 this year. He's got a strong leg. There's plenty of distance there, and it's good. He was impressive before the game, and that was very impressive. Iowa's on the scoreboard first from Iowa City. Well, talking about our ABC football broadcast next week, let's take a look at what's happened today. Michigan State has beaten Wisconsin 30-13 the final. That makes Michigan State and Michigan a lot more interesting. And what a letdown for Wisconsin as Hurley kicks it off. Deep kick with the wind to their back. They're not going to pooch it.
Yeah, obviously they didn't anticipate this win today, but the game plan was to pooch kick it, cover it short, and make them even maybe fair catch that ball.
Let's go to the Red Eye Special. Jack Aroo. Jack?
Roger, all week in Columbus, the talk on the talk shows in the newspapers was about the slow start that Ohio State had against Purdue. They began to criticize Pepe Pearson, saying he was no Eddie George. You discounted that factor, but the coaching staff were very concerned about the start of the team. And they said that one of the things that happened, they felt, was maybe it was a wake-up call to the team itself. But from the looks of this 3-zip score, you've got to begin to wonder.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. 1st and 10, 20-yard line for the Buckeyes. That's David Boston, the freshman, in motion to the top of the screen as they'll pitch it back to Pearson. Not much going right there. He is brought down for no gain as the defense for the Hawkeyes of Iowa. Number 37 is Matt Hughes. He's their leading tackler with 74 on the year. And in the secondary for the Hawkeyes, keep an eye on number 3, Damian Robinson. The reason why 4 interceptions this year, and Dick, he is a man on a mission. He felt embarrassed in that blowout last year by Ohio State, where they jumped out to a 49-0 lead.
Posted to a 57-7
56 to 7 at halftime. He was embarrassed. They threw over him, they ran over him, they blocked him, and he is a man with a mission today to redeem himself and his teammates against Ohio State. 2nd and 10. Jackson going to throw it out to the near side. The catch made at the 21-yard line. Not much happening there for Matt Calhoun. The ball was thrown down around his ankles. Vernon Rollins was there on the coverage.
Talking with Joe Hollis and Walt Harris, the 2 people that really run the offense. Joe Hollis, the coordinator, said, Ohio State this week was going to come out and not in the first quarter do any audibling. We're going to come up, line up, and play, and in the second quarter get into the audibling phase of their offense. They felt they've been spending too much time on the line of scrimmage trying to do the right thing, the perfect thing, and today they weren't going to do that.
Matt Keller, 23, has come in. DJ Jones, one of the tight ends, has come out. Lumpkin, the big man at 6'9", is the tight end. As Jackson got a man wide open, and Boston makes the catch. He slips right there at the 37-yard line, but gets forward to the 40, where Kerry Cooks, number 15, makes the tackle. As we take a look at the ABC Sports Board and scores from around the country. First down at the 40-yard line for Ohio State.
Here they got tackles over, Roger. Unbalanced line. 2 big tackles side by side. That's brand new in Ohio State Buckeye football.
That was Lumpkin, the tight end, who went in motion, gets the block, but pulled down at the 45-yard line. Now a penalty marker goes down. Pepe Pearson is complaining that There was a face mask. Kerry Cooks makes the tackle.
You'll see 2 tackles. Eric Golson 50 and big Orlando Pace 75 side by side. Now that's about 700 pounds of beef at the point of the tack. Might as well run behind those guys. Now that's new. They don't want to do it a lot.
Personal foul.
But it was effective.
Face mask, 15 yards, automatic first down.
That was a face mask call. By the way, Dick, that Ohio State offensive line averages 298 pounds. The Iowa defensive front 255. And we don't see many defenses like this Iowa Hawkeye defense in college football today.
No, we see fronts that look similar, but they play 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers. And it's a defense that's been played here over the years. The problem with it is finding defensive tackles that can play on those big Orlando Pace type tackles. That's why you don't see that much of that kind of defense anymore. But these people here play it well.
There's the record of head coach Hayden Fry. On 1st and 10, 39-yard line. Handoff, Pearson trying to pick his way through as he gets it down to about the 36. So Pepe Pearson, who has really filled the shoes of Eddie George in fine fashion. Not nearly as big, not as a devastating runner, but he knows how to get upfield in a hurry, Dick.
Yeah, and he's quick. He can burst between people. Bob Elliott, defensive coordinator, Iowa Hawkeyes, is committing 8 people on early downs to stop the run. Ohio State's going to have to throw against that single coverage. He said he has more concern about their passing game than he does their running game.
On 2nd and 7.
See that strong safety right up in there, Roger? Look, there's 8 people.
Jackson. Boy, he's got nowhere to go. Great coverage by the Iowa defense. Now they'll throw it downfield. I think he was trying to find Lumpkin, the big 6'9" guy. When in doubt, just throw it up in the air near him. But also over there on the sideline was David Boston.
He wanted to throw the ball to Demetrius Stanley. The corner rolled up and knocked him down. So he was on the ground. He couldn't throw it to him. And when the quarterback looked that way, as you watch the quarterback drop, he sets up, turns, he looks over there. The guy's on the ground, the top corner of the screen. He can't find him. Poised under pressure. He looks for other receivers. He gets enough time to scramble and tries to get the big one. No completion.
That's when you look for the 6'9" guy.
Yeah,
when you're scrambling. 3rd down and 7. Boy, he got nailed just as they threw it, and it went right through the hands of David Boston. Boy, Jackson had a lot of pressure on him that time.
See what they're doing here is all these linebackers here, and they get these people up here, and they get pressure from different angles out of the 4 linebacker defense. Here they come up inside, see, and there's a free man. People don't see 4 linebackers week in and week out. It's a good change up for the Hawkeyes.
Al Bartholomew, who leads the Big Ten in punting, but maybe more importantly, Ohio State leads the Big Ten in net punting at 40 yards as Tim Dwight, standing at the 10-yard line, took one back against Penn State last week.
Nice picture. He got it up there real high, and with that wind, it should come back.
Yes. And a good job by Dwight to haul that in at the 8-yard line. Timeout on the field here in Iowa City with the Hawkeyes leading it 3-0. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. Lucent Technologies, we make the things that make communications work. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. And Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. Roger Twyble, Dick Vermeil, and Jack Arud with you. The sun now has broken through here, and temperatures moving up into the mid-60s in Iowa City. Iowa leads it 3-0. They've got it 1st and 10. They've spotted it at the 9-yard line. Shaw cuts his way through. Nice pickup across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Antoine Winfield, who's getting the start over Ty Howard, makes the tackle.
Katzenmoyer, number 45, left side of your screen, moving over inside out, trying to get it. Belisari, 30, takes on the blocker, but a good cross-field block coming across there by the offensive lineman. That was Bill Reardon that picked him off. He's got to be careful not to overrun Cedric Shaw because he's a good cutback runner.
On 2nd and 3 from the 16. Sherman, the junior quarterback. Can throw on the run. He's got Dwight. He's pulled out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Sean Springs was there on the coverage. And let's go down to Jackaroo. Jack.
Well, Roger, remember now, Tim Dwight is only 5'9" as compared to the tight ends out here. They're 6'5". So what does the quarterback have to do? He has to change the trajectory of the ball. Whenever he throws to Dwight, he has to lower it and change the arc. A difficult task, but not so bad here because there isn't much ground on the field either.
Well, that kid is a bundle of dynamite right there, and I think if he threw it high, he could try to go and get it and probably would. If he threw it low, he'd probably go and get that too. He is a terrific athlete. As Sherman checks off at the line of scrimmage on 1st and 10 from the 26. Dwight can't quite handle that one.
The Ohio State, Fred Puckett, defensive coordinator, wants to match up Sean Springs, their fine corner, on number 6, for you see in the screen right there, Tim Dwight. He's a big play guy, and they want to match him up. But he doesn't like to set the corner, his good corner, into the short side of the field. And that time they were a little bit confused to how they wanted to play that.
Dick, what does Iowa want to try to do offensively to that Ohio State defense?
Well, they want to move the quarterback around a little bit. They don't want to allow the Buckeyes to zero in on where he'll be throwing the football, and they just demonstrated it there. There also has some exotics in the game plan.
On 2nd and 10, you see Tim Dwight that time lined up in the backfield. Now he'll split out to the top of your screen. 3 wide receivers for the Hawkeyes.
Blitz.
Here comes the blitz. Sherman hits his tight end, Knipper, and Knipper slips. Now, we've seen a couple of players slip so far. That's because this field was overseeded with ryegrass. They've had some rain here earlier in the week, but that ryegrass is a very slippery type of grass, so you're going to see
Knipper
some
right
players
here
slip, yeah.
standing up, so they delay him first and get him out late. That's really tough on a defense. Regardless if you're experienced or not, see him blocking there, then sneak him out there late. Coverage people release him like that, and he slides in, moving the ball for the 4 or 5 yards.
On 3rd down and 6, 8:43 left to go first quarter. Once again, Sherman checking off at the line of scrimmage. Shaw, look at this move.
Oh, nice.
He's got the first down. Cedric Shaw has shown you today that great running ability that's made him one of the best running backs in Iowa history as Penn State now with a final 48-26 over Indiana.
Good blocking by Ross Verba, 73, Mac Reichel, 76, the offensive left guard and tackle. They came off the ball, controlled their line of scrimmage, and allowed the lead blocker, the fullback, to clean up on the linebacker. Therefore, the nice game.
Shaw has now rushed for over 3,500 yards in his Iowa career, 26 rushing touchdowns. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards the last 2 years, and as we mentioned at the top, missed last week with an ankle injury. But they also have Tavian Banks, who's very capable on 1st and 10. Shaw on the left side, trying to tiptoe his way back and maybe loses a yard.
See, they changed up defensively that time on 1st and 10. Fred Puckett says, hey, they're moving the ball. I'm going to commit some people on 1st and 10 and run the linebackers through.
Now the standings in the Big Ten, we've updated them after those early games. Look at Michigan State now at 4-1, and that makes that game at Michigan really important next week.
A big one, well, a big one.
And Michigan and Minnesota, a night game in the Big Ten. But right now, it's Ohio State and Iowa. John Cooper, 3 times he's gone to a Rose Bowl, twice as an assistant, once as a head coach. He's never taken Ohio State there. Will this be the year, maybe his best chance with a terrific team, as we've got a penalty marker down. Dwight makes the catch. Dwight, so strong, breaks a tackle, and he takes it to the 42-yard line, but we've got markers down on the play.
Knowing that you're going to get man-to-man coverage a lot from the Buckeyes, they bring Dwight in motion, bring him in, and then spin him around and send him back out. Now, I don't believe they were in man coverage that time.
Against Iowa.
But they did end up shaking him free. It's a good idea to use motion against tight man to coverage. Here he is coming in motion back there. See, they're not going with a man-to-man, so it was a zone coverage. But it did loosen everything up. He gets out there. They ran a blitz. They didn't get to him quickly.
He was an amazing high school athlete at City High here in Iowa City, Dick.
No question.
He rushed for over 4,000 yards and 80 touchdowns in his career.
I know, and the amazing thing, he won the state championship in the 200 meters 4 years in a row. That means he won the state 200 meters as a freshman in high school.
It's unbelievable. 4.3 speed. They need to get him to touch the football more today.
That's what they say they're going to do. Don Patterson told me that. They're audibly now.
2nd down and 15. Iowa with 3 penalties for 24 yards. Good protection. Down the middle. Picked off. Picked off by 45 Katzenmoyer, the freshman. Andy Katzenmoyer with his 2nd interception of the year, and it was right to him.
Hayden Fry did not like that. He was very upset with that. See, and Matt waited just a little bit, and I heard you say he's going down the middle. Well, when you go down the middle, you better have a clear read what that defense is going to do, and specifically the middle linebacker, Katzenmoyer. He was just sitting back in there playing zone. They threw it right to him. He has a good chance to get back there. See, he has time. He has no pressure on him, no white jerseys in his face, but he doesn't need it. Here comes the pressure late, but there he is sitting there.
On 1st and 10 from the 35, that is Joe Montgomery, number 33. He's a junior out of Robbins, Illinois. On the year with nearly 6 yards of carry as we take a look following, Dick, a takeaway what Ohio State has done.
You know, really, I think they should be better than that. I think a team as physical, as strong, as explosive Ohio State should take better advantage of takeaways than they've been doing.
Gain of 8 that time by Joe Montgomery, who, when he has had a chance to play, has been very productive, averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. On 2nd and 2, up the middle, that's Montgomery, down to the 5-yard line. And right now, let's go to New York and check in with John Saunders. John?
Roger, following an Arizona State interception against Stanford, Jake Plummer tools up and finds J.R. Redmond. He takes it in 31 yards on the touchdown. The Sun Devils lead it 7-zip. Roger.
John, thank you very much. By the way, Arizona State hasn't been to the Rose Bowl since 1987. You know who their coach was in '87? John Cooper. 1st and goal, 4-yard line. Montgomery, the right side, he is stacked up. They're all stripped. They're going to say he was down. They're going to say he was down.
But he wasn't. He was not down. Unless they blew the whistle in terms of forward motion. But Bill Ennis stripped him to the football. Now, Joe Montgomery hasn't been playing a lot. He only carried the ball 50 times coming into this game. But he was not down. That ball came out early. Take a good look up. It'll happen to the right side of your screen. Fullback lead blocker. He gets up inside. Montgomery has it under his right arm. He should protect it. Now, Inge, number 9, strips it out of there. There it is.
That's a fumble.
That's a fumble all the way.
Wow.
Unless they blew the whistle, the forward motion had been stopped.
Good point.
And I'd be mad too, Hayden. He's been coaching here. This is his 18th year. He's seen a lot of good calls. He's seen some bad ones. And he's upset right now with one that he thinks was bad.
Heck, he's seen college football go from short hair to long hair back to short hair.
Take another quick look at it. The right corner of your screen. You're going off tackle. Inge, big, strong linebacker. Takes him on right there. Strips it out. That's a fumble all the way.
2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. And now Ohio State wants a timeout. Jackson calls the timeout as we'll keep it right here. You know, we saw Hayden Fry a moment ago. 392nd game as Division I head coach. That's the most among active coaches. And he told us yesterday, Dick, his philosophy about his football team this year and trying to keep the game close in the first half.
Well, he feels he has a very bright coaching staff, and it's proven this year that they've been able to come from behind in the second half because of adjustments made at halftime, Roger. So he feels if they can keep the game close for the first half and then come in, now they've had a chance to analyze the entire game plan of the Buckeyes, they can come back and pick it apart. That's the kind of confidence they have as a staff.
And it bears out, they've got 4 come-from-behind victories in their 5 wins. So I mean,
and the only one they lost is the one they were
leading against Tulsa, earlier this year. Let's check in with Jack Aru. Jack?
Well, without the benefit of the replay down here on the sidelines, here's what Hayden Fry was complaining to the officials about. He felt that no whistle was blown, therefore it was a free ball. And if one of the referees came over here, one of the officials, and said, I heard a whistle, and that's when we called the ball dead.
Probably a fan in the bleachers with a red shirt on.
Could have been somebody whistling. 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. Pepe Pearson, the lone setback. 2 tight ends, and Stanley goes in motion. Pepe Pearson, 3rd in the nation in scoring with 12 touchdowns, and Inge stacks him up back at the 11-yard line. The big man, Bill Inge from Kirkwood, Missouri. He's already gotten his degree here. And he is an outstanding football player for Hayden Fry.
Here he is, right side of your screen. I talked to him Thursday when I got in the office and visited with him about this ball game, and he said he's playing with more confidence right now than he's ever played with, and he says he thinks the entire defensive team is, and they really feel comfortable of doing a good job, and especially inside the red zone. They feel they can play defense down inside that red zone. You see here, opponents have scored 15 of 21 times, but only 10 touchdowns. That's less than 50%. That's good defense.
That was Iowa's 60th tackle for a loss this year on 3rd and goal from the 10. Jackson. And overthrown the intended receiver, Demetrius Stanley. As Jackson was knocked on his back by DeVries just as he threw it.
They're always going to try to get the ball to Demetrius. Now, it looked like here that Pledge Atkins expected the safety. He turned him loose. He expected the safety to come over and help, and he did not get there. That should have been a touchdown. Stanley Jackson has to complete that ball if they're going to win big games.
Josh Jackson, he's only attempted 5 field goals this year. He's made 4. 27-yard attempts. He's 16 of 16 in his career inside of 29 yards. And that's good. And we are tied at 3 with 4:58 left to go, first quarter. Today's Marriott moment comes from 1987 on a 4th and 23. Chuck Hartley will find a determined Marv Cook on a 28-yard touchdown pass for the 29-27 Iowa victory over Ohio State. The first Hawkeyes victory at Ohio Stadium since 1959. And Iowa hasn't beaten Ohio State here at home since 1983. Andy Stamp to kick it off for Ohio State into the wind.
Good leg for kicking it into the wind. He nailed it pretty good, Rob.
Back deep into the end zone. Richard Carter will down it, and let's send it to New York. And John Saunders. John.
Thanks, Raj. Texas and Colorado. Mike Adams had a 66-yard punt return. Helped set this up. 3rd and 11. James Brown to Wayne McGarity for the touchdown. Nice pass there. And it's now 10-0. Texas leading Colorado.
All right, John, thank you very much. Of course, Texas coming off a off week, which obviously they needed after they've stumbled there for a couple of weeks. And, of course, that devastating loss to Oklahoma. So far, no kick returns today. As Iowa's got it, 1st and 10, 20-yard line. 4:58 left to go first quarter. That's Tim Dwight in motion. And a little play action is Sherman's got all day to throw the football. Rolling out of the pocket, and dangerous play right there as Knipper has it go off his hands. And right behind him, Belisari was there and had a shot at him.
Well, Don Patterson, offensive coordinator, Iowa was thinking deep. So they ran the play action, they used motion, they got the man covered, but he did not have anybody open. And remember, the last pass that Matt Sherman threw was intercepted. Now he's a little cautious. He didn't want to throw that down there when he saw the safety get over and help out, so he tries to make a play out of a scramble play.
You saw 73 there, Ross Merba. He will play on Sundays after this senior year. He's 6'4", 285. He is the best offensive lineman as Sherman checks off at the line of scrimmage on a 2nd and 10.
And then Ohio State changes their front.
Shaw on the right side, and let's go to New York and John Saunders. John, nice to have you back in the chair this week.
Thanks for taking care of it for me for a week, and taking care of my partner, Todd Blackledge, as well. Virginia and Florida State, you know what happened last year? Warwick Dunn was stopped on the final play. No one stops him here. 65 yards trying to get revenge against the Cavaliers. It's a touchdown for Dunn and a 7-0 lead for the Seminoles. We'll keep you up to date. Back to you, Raj.
All right, John, that kid's got a giddy up in his step, doesn't he?
Oh, you bet he does.
That hop.
There isn't anything he can't do.
3rd down and 7. 23-yard line. Sherman pump fake. Now he's going downfield. He's got a man open, just overthrown. Demo Odoms was open.
So he got the man-to-man coverage. He ran a little out and up, had him beat soundly. But, you know, out and up patterns are tough to throw accurately. Now, you know, Matt Sherman is throwing at 56% complete, but that throw is tough to throw complete even in practice. You see he was way over the top of him. You're better to underthrow it and give him a chance to come back and fight the defender for it. But number 11, Antoine Winfield, was definitely beaten on that throw.
Nick Gallery back to punt it inside the 10-yard line.
He got it!
They got it! Ohio State got it! Ball is on the ground, picked up. Touchdown, Ohio State. Boy,
Bob Kelly came through there. You know, and Hayden Fry said, you know, I'm scared to death of their punt rush because they have so many good rushers. Oh, my gosh. You get a punt block, you don't win many football games.
it looked like Kevin Griffin was the man that got on it in the end zone.
Here it is, the right side of your screen. You'll see Kelly, number 34, come right in there, bang, lays out perfectly, gets it on the ground. There's Griffin scrambling for the ball, left side of your screen. He gets on it, 6-pointer.
Boy, didn't Hayden tell us yesterday he was afraid? I mean, he said, he goes, I'm scared to death that Ohio State's going to come after our punter today. Goodness. Josh Jackson on the extra point. And it's good.
Boy, you talk about a turnover. That's a turnover with a touchdown. You don't win many football games when you get a punt block, but we've seen more punts blocked in college football this year I think I've seen in the last 5 years combined.
These are two of the very best special teams in the nation.
Oh, they are good. Here's another look from behind. Now, he gets a good snap. He got it back here in about, it's taken an awful long time to get that ball off. He's got to get that ball off in 2 seconds, and it looked like that time he was going 2.4, 2.5 seconds.
Second block kick for Kelly this year. He made a couple of big plays last week. He had an interception and a fumble return for a touchdown. This is a kid that just makes a lot of things happen as Virginia and Florida State now tied as Barber goes 48 yards for a touchdown.
See, the center has 0.8 of a second. Now you remember you're
I know.
center. Coach says you get that ball back in 0.8 of a second. Now he says, punter, you have 1.2 seconds to kick the football and get it in the air and make it stay up there about 5 seconds. Well, that took longer than 2 seconds.
Well, tonight on ABC, a special hour of America's Funniest Home Videos on a special night, and a brand new hour of Coach starring Craig T. Nelson, followed by Relativity, all tonight here on ABC. You know, the thing that kills you about that play is that Ohio State can beat you with their offense. They can beat you with their defense. You don't want them beating you with their special teams.
No, well, they've already got the passing. Now they've blocked the punt for a touchdown. Wow.
That's the 4th blocked punt in Gallery's career. 170 punts. He's had 4 blocks. Short kick coming down. Picked up right there by...
Took that ball away.
Number 3, that's Damian Robinson.
I hate to see returners running the ball out with their elbow away from the body like that. That's got coughed up at the end, but the play was good.
Penalty marker down. Let's go to John Saunders in New York. John?
Well, Roger, we just showed you Warwick Dunn for 65 yards. Well, Tiki Barber comes right back. The longest run against Florida State from scrimmage this year, 48 yards, and ties the game at 7 apiece. Roger, back to you.
All right, John, thank you very much. Well, I'll tell you, year in, year out, George Welsh does just a terrific job there in Virginia, doesn't he?
I tell you, when you...
Push to the back, above the waist, on the receiving team, 10 yards from the end of the run, first down.
You know, last week against Penn State, Iowa had 9 penalties for 66 yards. They only had 8 first downs in that game, yet they found a way to win the football game 21-20. Look at the first half possession, interception, block punt. They got the field goal early on after the bad punt by Ohio State. So that's back now at the 19-yard line. 10-3, Ohio State leads it. 3:52 left to go first quarter. Play action, Sherman coming back to the near side, and Berger, 85, the former tight end, has been converted to fullback, slips down there, and at the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet most valuable player of the game from each team. Today, Chevrolet has awarded nearly $6 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities, as ASU has really gone up on Stanford now, 21-0.
Boy, you know, I'll tell you, Jake the Snake Plummer is something special.
I think
you watch him, and he just makes things happen. I know that's a cliche all football people use, but when you watch him play, that's what you've got to say.
on 2nd and 10. Well, he can do so many things. I mean, besides throwing it, he can run with it. He's caught a pass this year. Not afraid to stick his nose in and block. Sherman's being flushed out of the pocket. Now it's thrown short. The intended receiver, Cedric Shaw. And that time, Winfield Garnett got the pressure on Matt Sherman.
Well, Winfield Garnett is an improving player. You'll see it, the pressure right there. There's number 68, Winfield Garnett. He's, oh, wow, and that wasn't Winfield. That was Matt Fink. And he's done that to a lot of quarterbacks over the year.
Well, Jack, it's gotten rather quiet down there, hasn't it?
I'll tell you what, Roger, when they kicked off, it was very loud here. But after that touchdown by Ohio State, the crowd has really dropped out of it. The ones that are making the most noise now are the ones in the scarlet and gray, the Ohio State fans.
Sherman won for his last 7 passes on a 3rd down and 10. They roll it out. He's looking for Dwight and nearly picked off, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Damon Moore. Damon Moore. That's the 2nd interception today for Ohio State. Katzenmoyer had one earlier, and Damon Moore gets that one.
Here it is. See, now you'll see in the screen number 13, Damon Moore sitting in there just bracketing the inside. Quarterback's rolling out in that direction and pulls him into the throw, and he just sits there. Now, he's sitting bracketing. I mean, he's playing inside-outside with the other defender. And since the receiver came upfield, that released him to charge that throw. What made it easy was the quarterback was pulling him in that direction.
2nd interception of the year for Moore as Pepe Pearson is brought down after a gain of about 1. Nothing happening there as Damian Robinson, he flashes, doesn't he, Dick? He comes up, grabs people. Not many running backs are going to go through him.
No, you know, and he's a guy that just come out of the blue. Really, they did not expect him to be as good a football player he is. And I believe right now he's the best free safety I've seen playing football this year, and I've seen some good ones. He's a good tackler, a good pass defender, and he'll knock your helmet off.
Ohio State now plus 10 on turnovers this year. Ohio State and Iowa came in tied at 7th in the nation in turnover margin. Pearson tries the left side, gets about 3 that time.
They're starting to get real good movement with the offensive line, knocking people off the ball. Calhoun is a good blocker. They plan to use the tight end in that same position. 39, middle of your screen. He is mainly a guard in the backfield. Nice technique. See that, you young fullbacks watching for high school players? See how he struck with his shoulder pads? He bent his knees, kept his tail down and his head up. Good coaching by Timmy Spencer, the running back coach.
3rd down and 6. Ohio State 47% in 3rd down situations this year. 1 of 4 so far today. They split the backs. Now Pearson has it. Well, he just gets behind those big offensive linemen and leans on their backs and pushes them and gives them a little help, and he gets very close to the 1st down.
Well, you're thinking 3rd and long. Your ends are going to come upfield a little bit harder. You know, really, that would have been a better play, but the lead blocker running through on the draw did not make his block.
Vernon Rollins, Jared DeVries, the 2 players, 2 sophomores. Last year, they were, without a doubt, the best freshman combo defensive unit in the Big Ten. Rollins 2nd on the team in tackles a year ago with 92. DeVries had 11 sacks. And let's go down to Jack Arute. Jack.
Well, Roger, you know, at the top of the show, you did the comparison between Pepe Pearson and his predecessor at Ohio State. Of course, the Heisman Trophy winner, Eddie George. Well, Pepe is used to following in big cleat marks. In high school, he had to follow another great that went on to Ohio State, and now is playing for the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL. His name, Robert Smith.
Those were some fast cleat marks, as on 4th down and 1, Ohio State's going to go for it.
If you were calling plays, would you?
I'm not very smart for Meal, but I'd go behind the big man, Orlando Pace, number 75.
Good. They got a lot of defensive people stacked up over there. Maybe it'd be better to go the other way. They're going to go there.
Right up the middle.
Good defense. They pushed it back, but they did run over behind their best people, and that's what you ought to do. But Iowa State anticipated that, fired the linebackers in there, and pushed it backside.
Jason House was the first man in there.
They're coming off the ball. They got the weight for it, good surge for it. Now they got fullback lead, and it's pushed back. He didn't get right where he wanted to go, but he might have gotten enough. They're going to measure.
Now they're 6 of 10 before that play on 4th down this year.
I'm impressed with the movement of this defense. Iowa's defense is very, very quick. The linebackers are real solid, and of course, Inge anchoring at that outside backer spot makes it really firm.
Well, they got the 1st down, and tomorrow to miss the final round coverage of the Tour Championship, Tom Lehman is just running away with this thing. That's tomorrow at 3 Eastern, 2 Central, and Pacific on ABC Sports. He has played some tremendous golf at Southern Hills, and folks, you'll want to see what he can do in the final round because he has just torn up one of the toughest golf courses in the country. First and 10, 16-yard line. Touchdown, Ohio State. The catch made by freshman David Boston.
Well, Walt Harris told me last night they wanted to throw the ball to the big guy because he is a big guy at 6'3", 205 pounds, true freshman, against Ples Atkins. Now, he's 6 foot, but, you know, offensively, you have the advantage. He threw it high and over the outside. The defender couldn't see it. He threw it perfectly. Touchdown.
4th touchdown reception for David Boston. Freshman from Humble, Texas, 17 yards on a touchdown pass from Jackson to Boston. As Josh Jackson comes on to attempt the point after.
Ooh. Hughes got through there.
Yeah.
Down there got it.
But they make the extra points. And 1:35 to go first quarter. Ohio State 17, Iowa 3, and this is not in the game plan for Hayden Fry.
No. 1, 2, 3, lay it up to the outside. It's the receiver's job to go up and get it. The offensive player has all the advantages because he's looking back at the ball. Ples doing a good job, number 3, hanging on there, but he doesn't see the ball coming. Take a look from the other wide. Now you see it from a quarterback standpoint. Does a nice job. See the arc on the ball? He gets it up, throws it down the chimney right there, drops it in. Good job. Threw it to the right guy, too. The big, tall freshman.
One of the reasons Ohio State is ranked 2nd in the nation and is maybe the best team that the Buckeyes have turned out in many, many years. They score quickly. 19 of 41 scoring drives in 2 minutes or less. In 8 statistical categories in the Big Ten, they are ranked number 1 in 7 of them. And the drive there, 5 plays, 27 yards in 2 minutes.
Almost a little bit slow for them.
But they do it on the offensive side. They do it on the defensive side. As you've seen here today, they can do it on the special teams, too.
Well, what they're doing right now is they're taking advantage of the turnovers. They get a field goal and a touchdown, and they got the out of the turnovers, and they get the block punt for the touchdown.
Short kick.
Oh, he's got it.
He's got it. Ohio State's got it at the 21-yard line. They kicked it into the wind.
Michael
Wiley, yeah, the freshman came down.
Hayden cannot believe it.
Timmy Dwight was coming up to get a handle on it, and he hesitated for a moment, and Wiley ran underneath and got it.
That is amazing. Puts it right up in the air like that, and I think he kicked it that way on purpose.
Well, they're into the wind.
Taking a look now, see, boom, it gets right up in the air. Now, it looks like he was trying to bang it away hard, but the wind pushes it back. The last time he kicked off, look, there it is. Here we go.
First and 10, 22-yard line. Jackson looking down the middle, got the tight end. That's number 89, DJ Jones. Pickup of about 5.
Here we go. Take another look at it. The ball coming right down there, and he gets right in there aggressively and goes and steals that ball. Heads up playing, heads up coaching. I'll tell you, that's the first time I've seen that in a long time. I've seen it happen in the end zone, and or down there, but I've never seen it in that field position.
Andy Stamp's a happy guy today. He's been involved in a couple of kickoffs where good things have happened. Ohio State, their last 3 drives started at the 35, 27, and 22 as the Seminoles broke on top of Virginia. Pepe Pearson on the left side.
Nice play.
Yeah, he stripped up Damian Robinson again.
Boy, did he come up there. What a good safety that guy is. That was beautiful defensive play. There was a hole there big enough to drive a truck through, and that safety got up there and filled it. Really well done. You can see why the coaches are raving about how he plays. To the right side of your screen, you'll see the big hole appear right there. Freeze it right there. Now you'll see what I'm talking. There's the hole right there. Now here comes the safety to the right side of your screen. Bang! Nice job, young man.
3rd down and 1 at the 13-yard line. 19 seconds left to go, first quarter. Pepe Pearson breaks a tackle. Pepe Pearson, the cut inside the 5, down to the 3. I like the way he can cut back to the middle. He takes the most expedient route to the end zone.
No question. And what allows you to cut back, Roger, is that your offensive line is getting some movement. So when you start your cutback, you can find that daylight hole. And that's one of the toughest things with a 4-linebacker defense is to discipline the cutback angles and take away that cutback. Don't overrun it. See, and linebackers have a tendency to overrun those inside plays.
We've completed the first quarter here from Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. Ohio State 17, Iowa 3. First quarter for Ohio State. Opportunistic State University. 2 interceptions, a block punt for a touchdown, a recovered kickoff. And the worst case scenarios happened for Hayden Fry and the Iowa Hawkeyes. He wanted to keep it close. The first 2 series, Dick, they did a great job. And then the mistakes.
They're just whipping themselves, and they haven't been playing that kind of football. I mean, they come in here +8 in turnovers. Now they're playing that way. You cannot beat an equal team. You cannot beat a team that's not quite as good as you when you turn the ball over like that, especially when you turn it over in the field position. They've been turning it over in their own end zone area, you know, inside their own 40-yard line. Raj, you know, it's tough. And when these guys get inside the 20-yard line, they're going to score 22 touchdowns. That's a tremendous percentage. That's 75% of the time they get in the red zone, they score. And you're happy as a coach if you get 65% touchdown when you get in there. These guys are 75%. You just can't play football like that, and I know Hayden doesn't.
Well, the fans apparently are throwing some things down on the field, so they brought a few of the state of Iowa's finest in to make sure that nothing else comes from the stands, as Hayden also went down to wave his arms and put a stop to that. Second quarter, first and goal, 3-yard line. 33, Joe Montgomery is the deep back.
There he is.
It's wide open, and I'm telling you what, John Lumpkin, all 6'9" of him, you can throw it high to him. Not to worry.
I know. Plays on the basketball team at Ohio State. Going to be. I think he's going to grow into an offensive tackle. He probably doesn't want to hear that.
Oh no, he doesn't want to. I can guarantee you, he didn't want to hear that.
But he is a big guy, as you said, and you know that play action. You run the ball as well as they do, and then they sell the run and come out. Quarterback keeps it and he lays it up there. You know, anywhere close to that big guy, and it's tough for the linebackers not to acknowledge that play action.
Point after by Josh Jackson. As he knocks it through, and boy, I'll tell you what, 24-3 as we take a look at this play again.
Oh, I know it. You know, see, it's a strong play action right at the linebackers that have the responsibility to make the play off tackle. That breaks their concentration in pass defense. Therefore, they turn the big fellow loose. He couldn't sneak out. He's too big to sneak out of there. It had to be obvious with him coming off the line of scrimmage.
Now we take a look at some scores right there. Kansas and Nebraska later on. No score in the second quarter.
Normally, Roger,
what
you do as a defensive coach, you know you're going to commit to stop the run down there. But what you ask the person that's lined up on the tight ends to take him on physically and do not let him off the line of scrimmage. So if someone's going to catch the ball, it's not that tight end. Obviously, that time he got off the line of scrimmage clean.
John Cooper says, the thing I like best about this football team is their work ethic.
Yeah.
He says, we've got talent, but he says they work hard in practice, they play hard in the games. Yeah, he says we had a little bit of a struggle with Wisconsin. We didn't get off to a good start. Purdue did a nice job at the beginning of the game. But he says we came back, we worked through that. He expected a good performance today. He has gotten it so far as the kickoff goes into the end zone, and Iowa will bring it out to the 20.
His Ohio State Buckeye performance has been greatly enhanced by the Hawkeyes.
Dick, how do you like our lineup for next Saturday here on ABC Sports? Nebraska and Oklahoma Sooners starting to play a little better, and boy, Michigan State, Michigan. That game becomes much more important. And then later on in the afternoon, Northwestern and Penn State, Washington at USC, Maryland, Clemson, and Baylor at Texas. That's college football next Saturday here on ABC Sports. And want to check your local listings and the games that are offered on pay-per-view in your area.
You know, it's amazing how many people are watching that pay-per-view now. I get home, I know my game wasn't on there, and I have people tell me about it.
Spotman's got one of those dishes. Yeah. Checks out all the action. First and 10, 20-yard line. Trying the left side. And I'll tell you, that pursuing defense right there, not much going on for the University of Iowa's Cedric Shaw.
Well, Don Patterson, the offensive coordinator for Iowa, said to run the ball, you have to get outside. Granted, the Buckeyes defense is tough. He said it's just as tough inside. You've got to spread around and get outside once in a while just to let them know that you're going to do it.
This is starting to become a little reminiscent of last year in Columbus when Ohio State jumped out to a 49-0 lead.
Scored the first 6 times they had the ball.
Well, they didn't score the first 2 times they had it today, but they've been pretty productive since then.
He's audible now because he sees this tight man coverage. Now the Buckeyes back out of it. See, they change up.
On 2nd and 11, trying the right side. Shaw.
Wasn't that a nice move?
Beautiful move right there by Cedric Shaw, 6'1", 195-pounder. And they're going to mark it at the 28-yard line. Gain of about 9 on that play. Damon Moore and Sean Springs on the tackle.
Concentrate on the tailback here as here he is on the screen. He's going to hit off tackle right in the middle of your screen. His footwork is superb. He gets a nice little hole here. Now, boom, boom. He jumps right up over those blockers in there and heads downfield. Good athlete, good instincts.
Well, he missed that game against Penn State last week. It was the first game he'd missed in his career. Really a tough kid. 3rd down and 2. Penalty marker goes down, and he doesn't get anything that time.
What a collision by Katzenmoyer and the fullback. I mean, they both buckled each other at the point of attack. He couldn't run there. He pushed it outside, and the rest of the defense made the play.
Iowa's
but Andy did a great job on that.
So the penalty against Ohio State. Let's go down to Jackaroo. Jack.
Well, nothing against Stanley Jackson. He's got the score of 24-3 in favor of OSU. But as is the case, gentlemen, I think next series for Ohio State, you're going to see Joe Germain, number 7, come in to take the controls of the Buckeyes offense. He's warming up on the sidelines now. And, Coach, you know, as we've seen in the Purdue game, this is pretty much according to plan.
Yes, they don't have a specific time they're going to put him in, but they prepare him to play. He knows he's going to play, so he concentrates all week in preparation. He's a very, very accurate thrower, especially going downfield with the ball.
1st and 10, 33-yard line.
Look at those tight ends standing up on that 2-point stance. That's sure different looking, isn't it?
Dwight now in motion to the near side. Dwight's got it. He's going to try to throw it back the other way. There's a penalty marker down. Look out, interception. Picked off over there. 2nd one of the day for Damon Moore.
See, they're trying to get the big play, break the man coverage. They didn't play man to coverage. They went to zone. So therefore, Damon Moore is sitting back there waiting for the ball. You'll see the man come in motion. They flip it to him as he goes. Now he sets up and becomes the quarterback, throwing it back across the field. But Damon Moore was not fooled. They wanted a man coverage. They got a zone coverage. He picks it off. 3rd interception of the day.
The penalty was against Iowa, and of course declined by Ohio State as they take over. Once again, real good field position, the wind to their back at the 43-yard line. And as Jackaroo mentioned just a moment ago, that is Joe Germain, the sophomore out of Mesa, Arizona. Played at Scottsdale Community College for a year, transferred to Ohio State, redshirted, and he has been very efficient at the quarterback spot. He'll throw on 1st down. He's got a receiver near side. Oh, what a hit! What a big-time hit by number 15, Kerry Cooks. Woo!
That hurt. I'll tell you, you have to like playing wide receiver when you get hit like that. What they did is they rolled up the corner and forced him downfield, outside wide, and the safety came over to back him up just like he's supposed to, and that ball sort of hung in the air. You've got to zip that one there. He did not zip it there, and he got zippered. He got smacked, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow! Toughest man on the field, Demetrius Stanley, folks. He gets up and runs off after this hit.
Wham! That's smart. It's amazing they can get up after it like that.
2nd and 10, 43-yard line. I got shivers on that, Coach.
Very nice. Screen.
Yep. And Pearson can't get hold of it.
Threw it too hard. You know, he just put a little too much on the ball. I don't fault the running back. Had the screen set up. You got to just touch that ball. Just flip it to him lightly. Just coming in off the bench, a little bit nervous, a little pumped up, not concentrating on how he throws the ball. But look at this, 8 touchdowns in 44 attempts. That's outstanding.
Dick, you were a math major at San Jose State. What does that break out to?
Yeah.
About every 5
well, every
attempts.
5 throws. That's what we're talking about, though. He can throw the ball deep accurately.
3rd down and 10 at the 43. 12:42 to go 1st half. 24-3, Ohio State leads Iowa. Throwing it down the middle to the big tight end, Lumpkin, who wasn't there.
Good job by Vernon Rollins, who took the tight end away. He smacked him right down the middle, about 5 yards down the field. and he couldn't get open.
Well, listen to this crowd get back into it after a good defensive series.
Well, they need a big series right now. Now they need an offensive series. They've got to go ahead and execute and quit beating themselves.
Ohio State has scored 24 unanswered points after the Hawkeyes got on the board first. 2 punts today for Bartholomew.
Well, he's got the wind to his back right now. He should be able to bang it pretty good.
Here, huh?
Yeah, and he does.
And we'll let it go. Oh, what a good bounce. What a good bounce at the 5-yard line, covered there by Ohio State. And Iowa's going to find themselves in the hole when we return to Iowa City. .26 to go first half. This is how the possessions have gone for Iowa. A bad punt, they get a field goal. After that, interception, block punt, interception, interception.
And they're moving it over on their own end of the field.
Iowa 0 for their last 7 in passing with 3 interceptions. First and 10 from the 5-yard line. Cedric Shaw trying to tiptoe his way through there. Andy Katzenmoyer just grabs him, pulls him down. You're not going anywhere, my friend.
You know, I've studied him for 4 ball games now, and I saw him prior to last week's game in 3 games, 45 in the middle of your screen. He's gaining confidence and playing with more confidence, and when you do that, you become more aggressive. You're not thinking anymore. You're attacking. You're allowing your instincts, and here he is, you know, a 250-pound true freshman linebacker that can run like a deer.
Well, they knew when they recruited him he would start for them. And not many kids you go after that you think will come in and start for you as a freshman.
No, not fair.
Shaw on second down. Cedric Shaw gets close to the first down at the 15-yard line. Brought down by Ryan Miller and Damon Moore.
See, what they did is they got it stretched. They got it stretched, and they blocked Grable. If you block Grable, you got a chance. 94 in the middle of your screen. See, he's going outside on a stunt, and he gets knocked down by the fullback right there, and up inside they go. That was a stunt by the defense that didn't work. See, they looped him to the outside.
22 Tavian Banks is now checked into the game for the Hawkeyes of Iowa. 9 rushing touchdowns this year. He's been their leading rusher. There he is, number 22.
They're committing 9 people to stop this short yardage run. He's audible. And so
they've only got 2 seconds on the play clock. He gets it off. Now he releases it to the near side. Berger's got nowhere to go. On a 3rd down and short, I'll tell you what, you hate to see that. They just weren't ready.
Well, they weren't. Well, they saw the 9-man front. He audible, and he really wanted to throw the ball to Tim Dwight downfield. But he didn't get the time. The pattern didn't come open, and then the linebackers, Katzenmoyer leads the attack. He just takes away the swingman.
Well, they were a little late in getting Tavian Banks into the game that time because Shaw looked like he might have got dinged just a little bit on that last run as Gallery punted from his own end zone. They don't try to rush. You've got to have some nervous feet as he sends it into the wind, and that is a
that is an all-time.
Look at that.
Wow, that was into the wind, Rod.
Yep.
Look at that
inside the 20, and it will stop at the 17-yard line. Nick Gallery, a little bit of redemption, 80 yards on the punt.
I want some of what he had for breakfast.
That's his career long. That beats his 75-yarder that he previously had.
Wright came in here knowing that he was a good punter by studying his stats, but that is outstanding when you consider the wind is blowing pretty good right in his face.
Well, last year in the Sun Bowl, he had back-to-back 70 and 71-yard punts. And, Jack, what about this strong-leg punter for Iowa?
Well, he almost wasn't a punter. You know, guys, he was recruited, came here as a promising linebacker. And to this day, he takes snaps and reps at tight end.
You know that what's happening too. The Hawkeyes defensive coaches anticipated Ohio State coming up on the line of scrimmage and audibling and taking their time. Right now, on that snap, they had defensive linemen who were not down in a 3-point stance yet, Raj. So they got their butts knocked off. They're going to have to get lined up quickly because the Buckeyes are coming off the ball quickly.
That'll bring up a 1st and 10 after that carry by Pearson to the 32-yard line. I like Jack's comment. I think all kickers should practice positions. Let's get back to Jack. Jack, finish that story up.
So, Roger, you think all kickers should practice?
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you were the size of Nick Gallery at 6'4", 239, you wouldn't mind taking reps at tight end. But as we said, Hayden Fry recruited him here as a linebacker. But when he got here, he said, well, you know, I also punted in high school. He said, let's see how you punt the ball. And I don't think he had a career high until today like that one we just saw. But Fry was impressed enough to say, forget this linebacker stuff. You're my kicker.
Well, he's been a good one. He's had 13 punts over 50 yards.
The tackles are over now, Raj. Two big tackles side by side, top of your screen.
On 2nd and 2, and that's where Pepe Pearson's running. And look at that hole right there as he gets to the 49-yard line. They took Orlando Pace and put him over on the right side. And that's just a steamroller.
Holy mackerel. Here they are. Two big tackles coming off the ball, then the motion man kicking out. They just have too much beat there. Bang. Now look at Orlando, 75. He gets locks on right there. There's a good kick-out block there. A lot of room. They're going to have to slide the defense over or slant over there prior to the snap.
There's Orlando Pace. John Cooper told us, well, he's going to be my 9th player in the 90s to come out early and go to the NFL. It's pretty much a lock that he'll be coming out after this is junior year.
Now they're going end over with a wide receiver coming over.
On 1st and 10, 49-yard line, that's Montgomery. Breaks a tackle. Montgomery breaks another tackle. Montgomery's got room down the sideline. Cuts it back in. Down at the 1. Tommy Knight made the tackle. 50 yards for Joe Montgomery.
Thing that was outstanding on that was Matt Calhoun, the fullback's block. He did a real good job. See, they were in an end over unbalanced formation to the wide side of the field. The defense moved over slightly, and Calhoun kicked out the lineman. And then they get some great blocks downfield by Big 75. He blocks on the line of scrimmage and downfield. Look at him looking around. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that would be like a bus.
Well, he's holding on there a little bit too, isn't he? Is he holding on a little bit?
There ought to be a law against that.
1st and goal, 1-yard line. Montgomery, the deep back. They're going to let him finish it off. Touchdown, Ohio State.
Well, they ought to give the touchdown to Matt Calhoun and Orlando Pace, because Orlando Pace, that's probably the first running touchdown in a long time, and wasn't scored right behind him. And he's running downfield, chasing a little defensive back. He's a bully. That's what he is. He's a bully.
You know what? He doesn't run like a big lineman. When you watch the other linemen run and you watch Orlando Pace, he stands out because it looks like he can run. Actually he can pick his knees up, he can pump it and get it going. And I think, that shows you just his athletic ability at that size of 6'6". They say he weighs over 360 pounds.
Yeah,
take that 330 and go away, yeah.
They say he weighs about 365.
Yeah.
If you can believe that. He's not bad.
The point after by Jackson. And it's good.
They've got to regroup defensively.
Oh, man.
They're losing their poise. Yeah. They've lost their edge. They're starting to sink it. And this kind of football team right here, they don't only sink.
Along with Dick Vermeil, I'm Roger Twyville. Jack Root down on the sideline. Hayden Fry says we like to try to keep it close in the first half because I've got a great coaching staff that can make adjustments at halftime. I mean, how close do you have to be to make those adjustments?
I'll tell you, last year at halftime they came out and scored 35 unanswered points in the second half. Yeah. So they have the capabilities to do that, and they're a better team this year than they were last year. But the turnovers have demoralized the defense as well.
Yeah, that's what you can't do anything about. When the kids start making some mistakes and get around them. Kickoff comes down to the near side and taken across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Richard Carter, as last year in Columbus, Ohio State scored 6 touchdowns on the first 6 possessions.
That's hard to do against Bags at practice.
Yeah, it is.
Mike coached a team by me. They'd have jumped off sides in that series.
Well, Hayden Fry said it was the best offensive performance he had seen in college football, and this is what they've done today. A couple of punts to start off. And
but you can see, but see, these are all short drives. 5 plays, and it's not such big plays. It's just short field they were playing on with those turnovers. Of course, the one was a nice one, this last one.
Cedric Shaw back in the backfield for the Hawkeyes. Berger, 85, is the fullback. On 1st and 10, 26-yard line, Sherman, a little play action. Looking downfield. Oh! Berger makes the catch. Berger's got some room. Berger runs right into one player, gets across midfield to the 48. Goodness. Let's check in quickly with John Saunders in New York. John?
Roger, another great one between Virginia and Florida State. Thad Busby back to pass. He's hit by Travis Griffith. Todd White recovers the fumble, and it sets this up. 2 plays later, Aaron Brook plunges in. It's tied at 14 apiece. We'll keep you up to date. Back to you, Roger.
All right, John, thank you. 26 yards on that pass play to Berger. That ball was nearly picked off over there. Berger battled the defender and came away with it. First and 10, 48-yard line. Shaw's the lone setback. Sherman Williams got a man wide open. Wide open. Makes the catch down at the 16-yard line. That's Richard Carter. He's the speedster.
And believe it or not, they went zone coverage. So Springs was not playing tight man-to-man. When you get that deep, you still have him man-to-man. But you know you have a safety, and he ran a little out and up. Here he goes. Comes off the ball. This is the fastest man on the football team. He moves a little out. Springs takes a bite, and then he goes back up underneath him. See, he does not have help up behind him. He's got to cover him all the way.
What a great adjustment, Dick. I mean, what a great adjustment to come back to the ball. 32 yards on the pickup to the former New Jersey State 100 and 200-meter champion.
Blitz inside.
Shaw slips around, and the blitz caused a real problem there. Belisari, number 30, the senior from Boca Raton, Florida, came busting through that time. Boy, is he a good football player.
Oh, what a collision. I tell you, he is so smart. And we all know, we've said it many times, an academic All-American. The fullback here at the left corner of your screen, you'll see Cummings going to pick up the linebacker. Bang! He nails him, but it was a collision by both people that time. Good job by Berger picking him up.
3.65 GPA in pre-med for Belisari.
Academic All-American.
He's getting a look at some emergency room action on some of the hits he lays on people.
You know, and he's probably going to be a postgraduate NCAA scholarship winner as well. His mom and dad went to Ohio State. You know, he didn't have a choice.
Trying to be cleaning the cleats off out there on the
field.
field.
The other thing about having a guy that bright in your defense, he can get everybody else squared away. The thing is, the rest of the defense is about as bright. They've got a number of very good students.
On 2nd and 10, that's Shaw who will go out and motion to the top. Out of the split back set. They try to go underneath that time. Odoms was the intended receiver. He kind of stopped, and Rudzinski, one of the players that came busting through, also Finkus. Stanford has gotten on the board against Arizona State. Boy, Oregon, it's been a struggle for the Ducks this year. They have not won a conference game. They're 0-4. That's 92 Matt Finkus, who in 94 had 11 sacks and 4 block kicks. Senior from Pico, Ohio.
Ohio State showing zone coverage now, not the normal blitz type coverage.
On 3rd and 10, pressure. Sherman eludes it. Looking in the end zone. Dwight's at the back of the end zone. Now he throws it way too late. Way too late that time.
No, but see, they had good pressure up inside. Winfield Garnett, number 68, got up in there, and they backed out and played a zone underneath. They backed people out, rushed outside lineman back him. Here he's crossing the formation. There's Dwight in the middle of your screen. He's looking for the back. He points. I'm going to meet you at the corner of the end zone. But he didn't get it there quite soon. But that kind of a blitz is really tough to handle.
That's what Iowa's done inside the 20-yard line.
So Ohio State rushed outside people and dropped defensive linemen out inside into the coverage.
Now on a 4th and 10, they're going to attempt the field goal. Ball's going to be spotted at the 23, 33-yard attempt for Zach Bromert. He is the short field goal kicker, and he nails that one through. 34 yards on the attempt. Reardon snapped it. Ryan Driscoll was the holder. So a little bit of a moral victory right there.
Hey, they have to get something.
31-6 with 6.5 to go, and Thursday evening on ABC, Katerina Gordieva and Rudy Glendo compete in their first pro single skating event as they join Christy Yamaguchi, Katerina Witt, and Dorothy Hamill in the prestigious U.S. Pro Figure Skating Championships. That's Thursday evening at 9 Eastern here on ABC.
You know, every little positive before half is going to help them go in there at halftime. Even though it's 3 points, anything they can get, they better get it.
Saw Northwestern with the win against Illinois as they had to come from behind. Real seesaw game. All these finals right now. Maryland slips by Duke. Georgia Tech, the winner today, struggled with Central Florida. Look at Navy.
Boy, the
well. Service academies are doing terrific this year, aren't they? Michigan State, good win for them.
Undefeated.
Boy, Wisconsin
beats Notre Dame.
Hey, Texas Tech and Spike Dykes, they're leading the South now in the Big 12 Conference, and Syracuse is rolling along after a slow start. And Rutgers
they
gets
find
their
one they
second
can
win.
beat.
Yeah. Virginia
Pittsburgh's
Tech
really struggling.
Yeah, they really are. And Vandy started off with a couple of good, strong games. And how about Army? 7-0. I'll tell you, Bob Sutton has done a terrific job. And Ronnie Makeda, their quarterback up there, you believe this? He was a run-and-shoot quarterback in high school. Now he's a wishbone quarterback, option quarterback at Army.
There's that pooch kick.
Into the wind and backing up and taking it at the 20-yard line. And look at this move coming down across the 35 to the 36-yard line. DJ Jones, the tight end. Columbia moves to 6-0. I want to tell you, I don't think they've won a game by more than 3 points this year. Everyone's been close. Columbia.
I'm impressed.
Columbia.
You can't tell me your spotter must have given you that information. No way you know what Columbia is.
No, I spend 1 week in the studio, Dick, and I get caught up.
Oh, that's right.
Stuff,
you went to Columbia.
I stole Saunders' notes.
You weren't working very hard during the week.
Well, you remember Columbia had a losing streak for about 4 years. First and 10, 37-yard line, 6:25 left to go first half. Wiley's the man that went in motion to the top as they hand it to Pearson up the middle, and he just gets a couple there. Not much working. And Jack Arud, what about that big fella on the left side there for Ohio State?
Well, how about Lou Holtz saying that he was one of the best tackles in football? And they said, you mean college football? No, he said, I mean football. Now, you were talking about the fact that John Cooper thinks he might come out this year. You know, there was talk about him coming out last year in his sophomore season. But the NFL sent word to Orlando Pace, don't try it. And what happened was he said, okay, I won't. Because they have an NFL rule, about 3 years you've got to be in college before you can come out. He said, what about the NBA? They can do it.
All right, Jack, thank you. Stanley Jackson back in his quarterback, in trouble. Now coming back to the near side, eludes a couple of tackles and finally brought down at the 37-yard line. He doesn't want to stay down.
He's a competitor.
Vernon Rollins.
Well, actually,
he got kicked out.
He lost his temper and he used his feet. You know, a guy came on him, he thought a little bit late, so he extended and sort of kicked the guy, and he got kicked out of the football game. See, they used a delayed pass and a counter action here now. They're trying to freeze it. Now he gets out there in the bootleg trying to find somebody to throw to. But real good pressure now by Jared DeFries, number 94. It pushes him back there. But you can see he's so elusive. But he's not down. He knows that.
He didn't get kicked out for fighting last week. He would have had a sat out a game. He just got kicked out for unsportsmanlike conduct.
They better get lined up.
3rd and 10, 37-yard line. This Iowa defense trying to make something happen. A little pump fake by Jackson down the middle. His tight end Lumpkin's got it. Fumbles the football. Fumbles the football. Covered by Iowa. Jason House comes down on it. Damian Robinson just got on Big Lumpkin's back, went for the ride, and stripped it from him.
Big lump will come from the left side of the screen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they had the defense all spread out with receivers, so there's a little hole down the middle. Now, here's that great big guy. He gets it tucked there. Now, it's stripped right there by Damian Robinson. The ball's on the turf. I saw that flag there, but I don't know what the penalty was.
I don't think
probably a big guy and a little guy, and he thought that was not fair.
Inadvertent flag. One of those infamous inadvertent flags.
Right. They needed that.
Yeah, they sure did. 1st and 10, 40-yard line, 4:39 left to go first half. 31-6, Ohio State leads it. Quick handoff right up the middle. That was Berger, the fullback, the 230-pounder, as Belisari was there to make the tackle.
Fred Puckett, defensive coordinator, Ohio State's doing a real good job of breaking his tendencies. They've had a strong tendency of blitzing on first downs. They've been changing up and running zones, and it's helped them. But I'll tell you this, they play good defense after the offense gives it away. They've only given up 3 scores after 7 giveaways. Of course, as a defensive coach, you don't want to give up anything, but that's not too bad. The graphic doesn't tell you where the offense gave it up.
On 2nd and 7, that was Banks, the motion man, straight drop. Oh, he runs right into the on-rushing Mike Vrabel, and for Vrabel, his 4th sack of the year, 31.5 on his career now.
Here he is now, 94, right center of your screen. Now, Knipper, that's a mismatch. Actually, they were going to use Knipper to block down and bring out a lineman to block him low, and they didn't get the job done. But every time Vrabel sacks somebody, it's another record because he already holds the career record. Fine football player. He's 2 tackles away. Tackles for loss, now only 1 away from a new school record there.
3rd down and 16. Matt Sherman checking off at the line of scrimmage. Belisari's coming. Sherman going downfield to Dwight. Intercepted again, and it's number 13, Damon Moore.
He's looking for someone to lateral it to.
That's his 3rd pick today off the deflection. And Ohio State will have it at the 36-yard line.
That was a tipped ball, of course, and that makes it a little bit tough on the quarterback, but he's been at the right place at the right time.
College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And the Lennox Complete Heat System. Home heating plus virtually unlimited hot water from the company you trust. And if you haven't already gotten your Halloween outfit, Dick DeMille, there's a good idea for you right there. That'd look good on your farm.
Yeah, it sure would.
1st and 10, 37-yard line after yet another turnover by the Hawkeyes of Iowa. Jackson looking down the near side. Demetrius Stanley wanted the football, couldn't quite get to it.
Coming right after him with it, trying not to get the big play on 1st down, and they got the coverage they wanted. They just didn't get the throw they wanted.
John Cooper, who you saw right there, took Arizona State to the Rose Bowl. If things work out this year,
Has a chance to be the second coach to do both. Huh?
To be the 2nd coach ever to take 2 different teams from the Pac-10 and the Big Ten. The other, Pete Elliott. Did it at Cal and at Illinois.
Bump Elliott's here today.
Yeah, Bump's his brother. And Bump's son and Pete's nephew. Bob is the defensive coordinator. Jackson gets a couple, and let's go to John Saunders and check on what's coming up at halftime today. John.
Todd Blackledge.
Coming up on Valvoline Halftime 96, all the day's scores and highlights. Number 2 Ohio State in action, as is number 3 Florida State. Todd Blackledge standing by with our crack staff, headed up by Brian Hyland. They'll bring you all the important facts, all coming up on Valvoline Halftime 96.
I hope everyone noticed Brian's nice red hair. There was subject of much conversation last week in the studio.
Did you get on a little bit, did you?
Yeah. 3rd down and 6.
Yeah,
33-yard line.
Coming after him. Now they drop out a nose guard.
Can't make the catch. DJ Jones, the tight end, defended there by Kerry Cooks, number 15.
That's really tough on college offensive linemen. They rush everybody outside, and then they drop out a defensive lineman, a la Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is tough.
Well, you got a 6'5" tight end. You got to throw that football up in the air.
Yeah, you do. But there was a nose guard backing out of there, and he had to, get by him.
That'll present a 4th down situation to Ohio State. And, they're a 4-down football team. They don't go to that field goal very often. They're 7 of 11 on 4th down this year. Split backfield. Jackson gonna swing it out to his fullback, 39 Matt Calhoun, and not a good throw there. Man was open. So they'll turn it over to Iowa, and Dick, the Hawkeyes with 2:06 to go first half have maybe got a chance to put something together. They got all 3 timeouts remaining.
They have not been in sync at any time. They just really haven't. It's sort of hard to say, well, they must do this, they must do that. The best thing they've done is run the ball, and they really didn't anticipate being able to run the ball very well. Ohio State. One fumbles recovered.
It's interesting.
Interception.
Damon Moore's got 3 of those, and that was a guy that Purdue picked on last week.
Yeah, you beat him deep for 1 big touchdown. Redemption is the name of his game.
Yeah. 1st and 10, 33, and Sherman checking out once again. He's got Tim White as his deep back. Play action to Dwight. Got a man wide open, Odoms, and the pressure does not allow Sherman to make a good pass. Looked like Grable was one of the guys that came busting through that time. Also in there was Winfield Garnett.
Yeah, and the old, Luke Fickle.
You know,
Yeah.
he just keeps coming up inside.
Tugboat Fickle.
Tugboater, you know, and they call him that because he helps everybody. He grabs and gets people out of the way so another guy can stun up inside. Very unselfish player.
He was a 3-time state heavyweight high school wrestling champion, unbeaten in 3 years in the state of Ohio from Westerville.
You could have whipped him.
No, not a chance. Dwight's got it. Tim Dwight trying to find the left side, and he is pulled down at the 33-yard line. Belisari comes over to make the tackle on Tim Dwight, carrying the football for just the 5th time this year.
That was a very, very nice defensive play by Greg Belisari. Good discipline. They tried to block down and pull the tackle around him, and he took them all on. He took the tackle coming around on, then he took the fullback lead blocker on. Did a real nice job. Good blocking technique and good coaching by Fred Hudgett. Excuse me.
3rd down and 10.
There's Freddie. He's done a great job coordinating his defense.
BYU's got their passing game going today. They lead TCU 31-7. 1:15 to go, and they get it to Shaw. Can he make something out of it? Yes, I'll tell you what. Sherman was nailed back there. Once again, Vrabel was all over him.
You want to allow the defensive end to get upfield on a screen pass, but you don't want him to knock the quarterback on his back if you can prevent it. This guy is such a consistent, intense football player. Every time I've ever seen him play, for the 3 years, he's always played the same.
Has he got a chance to play at the next level?
Yes, he does. He definitely has. Here's Vrabel right here. He's strong for his size. They're going to say he's a little bit small at 255, but he has good acceleration, and what he has is a big heart, too. He doesn't know what it is to go anything less than 100%.
Jackaroo, what do you got on this senior from Akron, Ohio?
Well, Roger, Mike Vrabel shouldn't even be playing football. In high school, he suffered from 2 stress fractures of his spine, and doctors said no more football, no high school football, not even touch football. He went to 5 different doctors, and finally the head surgeon, this orthopedic surgeon for the Cleveland Browns, said, we can outfit you in a chest to hip cast, isolate the spine, and actually get you to heal properly. He wore that 6 days a week, Roger, practiced limitedly, and he still went out and played on Friday nights with his team. And the rest, as you know, at OSU is history.
Yeah, I tell you, I would punt this football. I would punt. Because there's, with 1 minute and 8 seconds left, if they don't make it, Ohio State can go score again.
Well, Ohio State took that last time out, so 4th and 5 from the 38. That's Dwight in motion. And look out, they're all over Sherman.
He got
Dwight's got it, and they got the first down to the 45-yard line.
They don't go straight to the 45-yard line.
1:03 left to go, first half, and Iowa's got all 3 timeouts remaining. That's his 2nd catch today for Tim Dwight, and Iowa has taken their first timeout. So Sherman, who was just from...
There's a gamble that worked.
Well, it was, but I mean, you've got to gamble. 31-6. I mean, you know, as Virginia has taken the lead. We had a chance to speak with Matt Sherman yesterday at practice. He's from a little town, St. Ansgar, up about 15 miles from the Minnesota border. Real small town. His dad coached him in high school. First player ever to start at Iowa from that little town. And
he's doing, you know, he hasn't had it going for him today, but he's been playing well to get him to this point. He's played well enough to this be projected as the best game in the Big Ten for a while, you know. But high school of 200 kids, you know. What do you say, 50 kids in his senior class?
Yeah, I think that was right. Yeah. That's
But
the school
he's
you were
made
from,
some,
right?
Yeah, I was smaller school, but it was smaller than that. But he has made some poor decisions today. Yeah, they were nice spirals.
Yeah.
Just the wrong color jersey.
Threw for over 6,800 yards and 77 touchdowns in his high school career. Matt Sherman did. 1st and 10, 45-yard line. And nothing going right there. Brought down by 43, Ryan Miller.
Yeah, and see, the running back that time, Cedric Shaw, was indecisive in his blocking assignment. He was getting over there. The quarterback is moving his in direction. He's got to define it. He's got to attack that blocker.
First sack this year for Ryan Miller. They came into the game, Ohio State, with 19 sacks on the year. Iowa came in with 30, but today it's been Ohio State getting to the quarterback. 2nd down and 16. 27 seconds to go. Sherman hesitating, now throwing it down over the head of Tim Dwight.
You know, their pass offense right now is everything is so downfield, and it takes so long to develop. Initially, he has time to throw the football, but then time runs out because there's nobody in the medium lanes. Now, game plan-wise, I thought they said they were going to throw a lot of underneath stuff. They aren't going to beat somebody deep right now with 23 seconds to go at half. They got to work it downfield in front of people and then get it out of bounds.
Well, now, Dick, with 23 seconds left to go, a 3rd down and 16, I mean, do you go ahead and just say, okay, let's pack it in for this half and just try not to turn it over and let...
Well, they have two timeouts left. They can move the ball, maybe pop the big. You know, they've got the long field goal kicker.
Well, maybe they've got to look for something in the intermediate range instead of the deep range because, I mean, there's 2 receivers out there and 7 defensive players. And look at that. Was it complete?
Yes.
Was it complete?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. 41-yard line. Reception made over there by number 4, Richard Carter.
Richard Carter, number 4, would be the left-hand side of your screen. He'd come all the way across the field, settle down right there.
Yep.
He got 1 in and 1 out. Only need 1.
Perfect. So Carter is a guy that splashed a couple of times so far today. I'll tell you what, I think Ohio State's doing a pretty good job on Tim Dwight so far.
They are.
1st and 10, 41-yard line, 15 seconds.
2 timeouts.
Left to go first half, which has been a story of Iowa turnovers. And Ohio State taking advantage of them as the pass intended for Cedric Shaw, which would have been for little or no gain.
But into the short side of the field like that, Roger, there's no room to throw the football. You know, it's not hard. I'm surprised they're not setting that to the wide side of the field. And then when he moves to the sideline, there's a lot of room to run away from the defense.
I wonder, too, Dick, when you get into a situation like this, you know, as a coach, and, you know, you've had some pretty good game plans so far during the year. What sort of decision process? I mean, you think we stand here and say, well, that's obvious. You can see that. I mean, what are they seeing to make a call like that?
Well, they've seen what Ohio State has done in the past
right.
in similar situations. Looks like now they're going for the big one downfield.
On 2nd and 10, less than 10 seconds to go, and Sherman slips down. There's that rye grass. Ryan Miller was the first man in there.
Dick Honig threw the flag on that.
Yep.
He pedals back, and that technique sometimes is a little bit tougher to set up in. Now that play was dead. Now they threw 15 on that.
After the man was down, we have a dead ball, personal foul on the defense. 15 yards, first down.
That's tough on the defender, too. That really is. They still have 2 timeouts left.
6 seconds left to go. Minus 11 on the sack.
They've got to go right for the end zone. 15
on the penalty.
Yeah, go for the end zone.
Now the clock's running down. They had 2 timeouts.
I'm looking for the clock. Yeah.
Clock ran out after the penalty. Now the officials are saying it's halftime. Ohio State has left the field.
I thought they would have the 1 play.
Well, they never called a timeout. The penalty was assessed, and then they started the clock after the penalty was assessed.
Hayden's arguing with him on that.
Well, this would be maybe their best scoring opportunity of the day right here with Ohio State off the field.
A halftime or game end on a defensive penalty? That's a defensive penalty. Here's the 4-second clock, 3-second, 2-second, 1 second. It's over.
Well, as soon as they stepped it off, they started the clock.
Yeah.
31-6. Ohio State leads Iowa. And coming up, Valvoline halftime, 96 from New York with John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. Ohio State 31, Iowa 6 at halftime. And to clear up that little matter at the end of the first half, let's go to Jack Arute. Jack?
Roger, I talked to Dick Honig, the referee for this game, and here's what he told me. He said, we put the penalty in play. We blew the clock to start again. There were 6 seconds on the clock when they started it. He said Iowa had 2 additional timeouts. They didn't call it. Time ran out.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. As Ohio State 31, Iowa 6. Let's go to New York and John Saunders.
Welcome to Valvoline Halftime 96. John Saunders alongside Todd Blackledge to the scores and highlights. Northwestern, a team that has lived on the edge the entire season, losing the first game to Wake Forest, but they have come back. Darnell Autry will not play in this game. Steve Schnurr trying to pick up a first down on 4th and 1, doesn't get it. But later, Steve Schnurr hooks up with Brian Musso again.
Yeah, this team has got great resiliency. They missed the 1 4th down. Now, this is a tougher one. 4th and 5. He comes through with a big throw to Musso. And
3 plays later, Adrian Autry would take it in for his 2nd touchdown of the game. It seals the victory. 27-24 is the final for Northwestern. 13 straight Big Ten victories for Adrian Autry. 128 yards, a couple of touchdowns, picking up for Darnell Autry.
Yeah, Gary Barnett mentioned it last week. If one soldier goes down, somebody else has to pick up the flag and run with it. Adrian Autry 2 weeks in a row.
LSU over Mississippi State. Kevin Falk had 2 touchdown runs and a touchdown pass in this contest and 177 yards. A terrific back.
13th ranked rushing team in the country, LSU, battling back after that tough loss to Florida.
Speaking of tough losses, Penn State last week to Iowa. Joe Paterno trying to get his team back. And Indiana quarterback Jay Rogers is picked off by Gerald Filardi. 24 yards on the touchdown interception. 48-20 at that point. Indiana's lost 13 straight in the Big Ten. Mike McQuarrie came in as quarterback. Is this a change for the good for Penn State?
Well, it may be, because this offense really has needed a boost. And Mike McQuarrie, when he's come off the bench, he's given that to the Nittany Lions today. A couple of touchdown passes really got that offense going in the second half.
Navy blows out Wake Forest. Chris McCoy, 2 touchdown runs and a touchdown pass. Wake's lost 6 since beating Northwestern. Michigan State over Wisconsin. Todd Schultz, 2 touchdown passes. Michigan State, a big surprise today.
And they've gotten a real boost in the arm from Todd Schultz, because he hurt his knee against Nebraska. He was out for a couple weeks. Ever since he's been back in the lineup, this offense has been pretty good. Cedric Irvin, also a good running back for the Spartans.
Wisconsin struggling after that fumble last week. Now Texas Tech against Texas A&M. Zebby Lethridge to Sammy Morris. 81 yards this one covers, and Tech has a 13-10 lead. But how about Byron Hanspard? 13-10 is the final in this game for Hanspard. 198 yards. Gee, he didn't get 200 today.
Didn't get 200, but that's a pretty good defense he ran against Texas A&M. Still a big day for him, and a big day for the Red Raider defense as well.
Syracuse over Boston College, 45-17. Donovan McNabb had a great day. 2 touchdowns passing and 2 touchdown runs as well. Pitt beaten up again. Virginia Tech this time, 34-17. Jim Druckenmiller, 2 touchdown passes to Sean Scales. Army a winner over Miami of Ohio, 27-7. Ronnie Makeda with a touchdown pass. Columbia wins again, a perfect 6-0 now. And Columbia had never beaten Yale 3 straight years until now. James Madison loses to Delaware, 27-13. Greg Maddox had a touchdown pass there. And Marshall against Appalachian State. Eric Kresser could have been the quarterback at Florida, but he would have been the backup to Danny Werfel. So he transferred, and he hooks up with another transfer out of Florida State and Notre Dame. Randy Moss, 73 yards. 17-10 at that point. Marshall wins it 24-10. Eric Kresser with 3 touchdown passes. Always the unexpected in college football, but this year a season of surprises, starting off with Arizona State and their win against Nebraska.
Yeah, great turnaround for the Sun Devils. Derek Rogers becoming a star on defense, while the offense is led by the multi-talented quarterback Jake Plummer, and this team has become the most exciting team to watch in college football.
It's been a decade since they made it to the Rose Bowl. How about the success of the service academies, led by quarterbacks Chris McCoy of Navy, for Air Force Bo Morgan, and Army's Ronnie Makeda?
Teams are very similar. They all run the triple option. They are led by talented quarterbacks, and none of these teams are ranked in the top 25, but when it comes to rushing in the country, they're all in the top 5. Army is first, Air Force second, and Navy is 5th.
The turnaround of Columbia, hard to believe. They said if Northwestern can do it, so can we.
Their head coach, Ray Tellier, showed his team the Northwestern highlight film before the season. Same team that had a 44-game losing streak several years ago, now a legitimate contender for the Ivy title.
Speaking of Northwestern, they lose to open the season to Wake Forest, but they've come back just like last year.
What surprises me is that they needed an early season wake-up call again to get on a roll, but it doesn't surprise me that this team is succeeding. Quarterback Steve Schnurr has elevated his game to a new level. That's why this team is playing well.
For Ohio State, they lose Bobby Hoying, Ricky Dudley, Eddie George, and Terry Glenn, but they don't miss a beat.
Don't miss a beat. Not only that, this team is averaging more yards and more points per game than that talented group a year ago. On top of this, a very good defense for the Buckeyes.
And something we clearly agree on, we like the new overtime rule.
Yeah, there's a lot of skepticism whether this was the right format or not. It's not sudden death, but it has had a sudden impact. It's added a great deal of drama and excitement to the college football game.
It's also somewhat changed strategies because now we see coaches playing to get into that overtime period.
Yeah, you know, last year there were only 9 games that ended in a tie, but so far this year, 12 games have gone into overtime, so coaches are more inclined to play for the tie and take their chances in OT.
It's been a very exciting season. We'll continue with part of that season right after this.
Ohio State 31, Iowa 6 at halftime. And Dick, in the first half, it was the mistakes by Iowa and an opportunistic Ohio State defense.
They just kept taking the ball away, and you know, sometimes quarterbacks throw the interception, the defender doesn't intercept it. Katzenmeier standing right there waiting for the ball. He threw the interception. He didn't have to intercept it.
Second interception of the year for Katzenmeier, the freshman and one of the very best freshmen in the country. Now, the punt.
Kelly comes right through the right side of your screen. It gets it nice, lean, reach, belly, slaps it back.
And then
goes in for the end zone.
Yeah, Kevin Griffin, 42, the second man in the white jersey coming into the picture. He just wanted that football.
Yes, he did.
Touchdown. And then Damon Moore
does a real nice job of just dropping off there. It was a back out of the backfield on play action. And he's had 3 interceptions in the first half. That's got to be some kind of record.
Well, he only had 1 on the season, and in all honesty, the Iowa coaches thought they'd be able to pick on him today because they like to stay away from Sean Springs.
Well, they wanted to use some of the same principles that Purdue used last week. Give credit to the Ohio State Buckeye coaching staff. They changed up a little bit.
With the win, Ohio State to kick it off as Tim White will take it at the 3. Watch, this guy's got some speed.
Yes, he does.
As Dwight gets it back to the 24-yard line. That's where Iowa will put it in play. Gary Berry came down to make the tackles. We take a look at these halftime stats, and sometimes, Dick, they are misleading.
They are misleading. Sometimes, of course, the score 31-6. The rushing yards, really Ohio State. Passing yards in favor of Iowa. Total offense here, but look at both running 39 plays. Both 8 first downs apiece. Time of possession here in favor of Iowa, but look at points after turnovers. That shows you time of possession sometimes is not as critical as good plays executed when you have the ball.
A telling stat, 31-6.
Yeah, and field position after turnovers. Iowa 35-yard line. That was a short field.
Cedric Shaw, can he get it to the outside? He turns it up and he gets to the 30-yard line. Ball loose. Ohio State's got it. Can you believe this?
I can't believe it.
First play from scrimmage in the second half. Shaw's got about a 7-yard pickup, and he loses the football. Wow. Sean Springs looks like he was down at the bottom of the pile.
Well, listen to the crowd. They just feel like we do. They just took the wind out of it. Here it is. Tailback, high formation, offset eye, gets in the ball there quickly. Looking at it, he's got the ball on his inside arm. It would be better if it was on his outside arm right now, because then the defense hits through his shoulder rather than right there at the ball. Strips it out.
Katzenmeier got it. Katzenmeier stripped it. Now, you got to think that Hayden Freidrich told his team at halftime, you know, we scored 28 second-half points a year ago against this team. We can do it again. And at 31-6, you know, that gives these kids some hope. That just really buries them right there.
And over now, unbalanced. Last time they ran to the right on this. Now they're coming onside.
Pepe Pearson, 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. And he just follows the right side of that line down inside the 25 to the 23-yard line.
See, that's why Pepe Pearson, yes, he's a fine running back, you know. He's not the Eddie George of a year ago, but with the offensive line coming off the ball like that, most good college running backs will look real good. You know, Joe Washington came in and did a great job in the first half, running behind that well-coached, big, physical offensive line.
Can you ever remember a team having such good field position throughout a game?
They started the field, oh my, here they're starting at the 29-yard line.
On 2nd down and 4.
Unbalanced again.
That's Boston in motion to the near side, and Pepe Pearson did it one more time. I think, Dick, in all honesty, this Ohio State football team could just go up to the line of scrimmage, take those 2 big tight ends, a couple wide receivers, and 1 back, and just line up and run on anybody in the country.
Well, they can, but you may not be able to beat everybody in the country doing that, but they can always incorporate that in the initial phase of their game plan. John Cooper can say, listen, guys, we know that we can run the football. Now, what else do we have to do to win it? You know, and they haven't thrown the ball well in the last 2 ball games.
See, against the Big Ten since 92.
He's done a great job.
Yeah, he really has. 3rd down and 3, 22-yard line. Stanley Jackson, the quarterback. Pepe Pearson, the running back. Penalty marker down, and Pearson's going to be short of the 1st down at the 20, but we've got a flag thrown. Vernon Rollins, the sophomore from Hackensack, New Jersey, one of the players there. Also Matt Hughes, you see, 37, and Hughes is from Eastland, Texas. That is the town that Hayden Fry was born in. And interesting story, Matt Hughes, his dad, Ronnie, has moved up to Illinois to be a high school coach. Was his coach in high school, Dick, but moved up to be closer to him.
Yes, he did, because, you know, they lost their older son in an automobile accident in 1992. And so he wants to be closer to the son that he has playing football here at Iowa. Still has a 6-hour drive to get here to see him play.
Offside on the defense, 5 yards.
Boy. Woo! It's just going wrong. It's going from bad to worse is what it's going.
And they're too good a football team to be playing this poorly. They really are. Look at Ohio State. They played on such a short field. The average starting field position was their own 47. Ladies and gentlemen, that means they were playing on a 53-yard field on the average.
1st and 10, 17-yard line after the penalty. Pepe Pearson cuts it back up. And inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line before Kerry Cooks made the tackle. And, Jack, what do you got on Pepe?
Well, Roger, according to his running backs coach, Tim Spencer, the big difference between Pepe Pearson of this year and Pepe Pearson of last year is one Eddie George. He said Pepe knew that Eddie George was going to get most of the balls, most of the carries, so he wasn't mentally prepared last year. As soon as George left, got the Heisman, he said all of a sudden a light bulb went on Pepe Pearson. He said, hey, it's all up to me now, and he certainly has performed.
2nd and 1. Pepe Pearson trying to skip it to the outside, breaks a couple of tackles. Now he runs over a man, and he gets the 1st down inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line.
You know who did a real nice job on that play was defensive tackle John LaFleur, number 55. He got good penetration. He whipped Rob Murphy on the line of scrimmage and pushed him to the outside. Nice job. He'll be at the left corner of your screen, number 55, and he pushes the ball outside right now. See him in there, the left side of your screen. Now, but the running ability and the good quickness and speed, he prevents the negative play. There
Ohio State.
Academic all Big Ten, good student here at the University of Iowa.
1st and goal from the 2-yard line, averaging 44.7 points a game. Pearson grabbed and brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Matt Hughes, the sophomore that we just talked about a moment ago. You know, leads the team with 74 tackles on the year.
You know, and last year he only played 20 snaps from the line of scrimmage. He made 19 tackles in special teams and that kind of thing, but he has really come out of the blue, and he's only a sophomore, and he and Vernon Rollins, both sophomore inside linebackers, are really going to be good football players. It's at the right side of your screen, you'll see him flash. You're bringing him in, here he comes, bang, he's going to go right by the fullback there and in and make the play. And that fullback now is a big guard, Ben Gilbert, number 64. Now he's out of there.
On 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line, Pepe Pearson one more time, touchdown Ohio State.
They've lost their edge. They have lost their edge now. They did those same things early in the first quarter, and they stopped them both times. Now they're finding cracks to run.
13th touchdown on the year for Pepe Pearson.
Big Juan Porter, number 65, middle of your screen, getting a good turn block there. Seeing he's really strong, and he can keep his feet moving. His butt was down low. The guard, Murphy, came off to help him. He didn't need any help. He said, I got this guy all by myself.
And Jackson to attempt the point after. That's good. 11:28 to go, third quarter. Ohio State takes advantage of yet another Iowa turnover. And welcome back here to Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, where on the first possession of the second half, on the first play, Iowa fumbled and Ohio State takes it down. Peppy Pearson's 13th touchdown of the year, as it's fielded by Richard Carter. Now it's in the hands of number 26 there, Ed Gibson. I guess Gibson just wanted it more than Carter.
Yeah, he just wanted it more.
Well, they're trying to mess up Ohio State, and us in the same breath. Florida State now on top, 21-7. Arizona State pulling away. So that's a team scores a lot of points.
Yes, they do.
Kansas without their best running back, June Henley, at Nebraska tonight should be easy. For
Alabama was up 13-0 over Tennessee.
Yep.
Wow.
North Carolina's got a good team this year. Michigan, Minnesota. Jim Wacker's fighting to hold on to his job there. Northwestern just keeps on keeping on. Tim Dwight in motion, 1st and 10, 26-yard line. Cedric Shaw keeps the football. He gets about 9 that time before he's brought down by Ryan Miller and Greg Belisari.
You know who came off the ball real nice? The entire offensive line did, but Ross Braver, the big left tackle, really came off the ball and turned him out. Here he is at the top of your screen getting a nice turnout block. It's a good job by Ross Braver. Comes off the ball. Now that's a good football player he's blocking. See, he just takes him and turns him to the outside, and it allows him to cut back up inside. Maybe the defense will sink just a little bit, lose that edge, and the Hawkeyes can start moving the ball.
They call an 8-yard game on 2nd and 2. Cedric Shaw, one more time. He's got the school record for rushing attempts, over 700 in his career.
And yards and touchdowns.
Yeah. As we take a look at some more scores, BYU 45-21 in the fourth quarter. Kansas State hangs on. Oklahoma made a big comeback at the end. Penn State earlier today after Indiana battled them.
Yeah, they haven't been scoring points either. That's a lot of points for them to put on the board.
Utah without the biggest tailback in college football with a win, and Washington bouncing back against Oregon. On 3rd down and 2, Berger is the lone setback. Dwight split to the near side. He's looking at Dwight, and he's got it. First down for Iowa to the 43-yard line.
You know, neither team did a very good job of converting on 3rd down in the first half. Believe it or not, Ohio State only converted one 3rd down situation, but they did such a good job on 1st and 2nd down.
Jack, what do you got for Tim Dwight on us?
Well, you know, Roger, he's Iowa bred, and he's been very, very popular here ever since he decided to come to Iowa. But they tell a story about when Tim Dwight was a freshman. The team called the timeout. The water boys didn't come out to service the team. He grabbed the water bucket, went out, took care of it himself.
It's efficient, isn't it?
That's a team player. You got to love that. 1st and 10, 44-yard line. On the run, Sherman throws it. He's got his receiver, Damon Gibson, over on the far side.
You see, he got his receiver, also got his lunch. Matt Pincus really got pressure on him at the end and just nailed him, and he hit him right up underneath the shoulder pads there, and boy, that can hurt you. Get into that rib cage. This guy has played real well over the 33rd career start today for Matt Pincus. That defensive front has a lot of experience. That's why they play so well.
Well, Pickles' 45th career start. Pincus. They're not real big either. 258 there, Vrabel 260.
In today's standards, that's not big.
9:52, 3rd quarter. 1st and 10, 46-yard line. Sherman checking off.
Yeah, they jumped into what they call the bear front. Hard to run against them, so they sprint out.
Sherman's got nobody to throw to. He throws it behind Cedric Shaw and lets send to New York in John Saunders. John?
Roger, Virginia against Florida State. Following an interception, Thad Buzzley sets up. 21 yards to E.G. Green, who makes a nice grab in the end zone. They take the lead 21-17. Florida State was just marching in for another touchdown. They fumbled. It was recovered in the end zone by Virginia. 21-17. Roger.
Thank you. Keeping us updated on other big games taking place around the country this afternoon. Well, this has turned out to be a beautiful day here in Iowa City. Not a beautiful day for the Hawkeye faithful.
Hawks.
2nd and 10. Dick, what do they got to do on offense? What do they need to do in their passing game?
I think they need some intermediate throwing there underneath the zones.
Cedric Shaw, a penalty marker goes down, and Shaw gets about 4. Katzenmoyer and Belisari were both there to make the tackle.
You notice they came in anticipating a lot of man and heavy pressure, blitzes and that, so they use maximum protection. But they're playing a lot of zone. Here's 2 linebackers here just attacking. One will get blocked. Belisari got nailed right there. But Katzenmoyer, you notice the other thing about Belisari, you can block him, but he doesn't stay blocked. He just keeps battling, and his buddy comes over from the other side.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the flag, still second down.
There's Belisari. Doesn't stay blocked. You can hit him, but he isn't going to stay down. You see, the fact that they've got to get into some underneath throwing, some check downs, some screen plays, some draws, and all that, and let him go ahead and play the looser cover.
Second down and 20, 44-yard line, straight drop by Sherman.
Good protection.
Going deep. 20-under Odoms, tipped away. Beautiful defensive play back there by Sean Springs. And let's go back to New York and John Saunders.
Roger, I told you about the fumble. Here it is. Pooh Bear Williams. Looks like he could have a touchdown. He's hit, and it just comes loose. It's recovered in the end zone by Rondy Barber. The brothers Barber doing very nicely today. TT over 100 yards, 21-17, Florida State.
All right, John. Pooh Bear looks like a healthy fullback.
Yeah, he's about 270 pounds. Maybe more. Maybe more. We saw him earlier in the year. And the Pooh was a big bear.
And Ohio State has not allowed a touchdown in the 3rd quarter this year, allowing less than 10 points a game.
Coming after him.
3rd down and 20. And that's out of bounds. Looked like one of the offensive linemen might have moved early, but I don't see a flag down there. Finkus was applying the pressure. 70,397 today.
And a good change-up defensively. Now, he's pedaling back there. See, that's the one reason I never taught that technique. Not that I'm right, Roger, but pedaling back, you have a tendency to get your weight on the heels. Early in the game, we saw him come back and slip when he tried to transfer his weight and plant. He slipped out from under him. That time, he stumbles coming back out of it. It does allow you to see better to your left there.
Gallery back at the 30.
Not a good one.
Low kick.
Ooh, he's got
taken by Boston. Penalty marker goes right down. Had a chance to talk to Dick Honig and some of his crew. They were at our hotel last night, and they sit around and watch video of games they've done.
Yeah, I saw them in there last night.
You know, they're trying to improve themselves just like we sit around and watch video.
Yeah. These guys, you know, they don't do it full time, but they take their job very seriously. I mean, this guy right here, Honig, is really, I think, one of the finer officials in the country, let alone the Big Ten.
Penalty's going to be against Ohio State.
Locking it back. Above the waist on the receiving team. 10 yards. First down.
You know, since I've been doing college broadcasting over the last 8 years, I really think officiating overall on the college level has really, really improved.
Well, first 6 games in 95, first 6 games in 96, and today, I tell you, they lost some great offensive players from a year ago, Dick, and they just are not missing much, are they?
But they didn't lose the offensive linemen.
That's true. It's like I've told people for years. It's got nothing to do with those backs. It's the guys up front.
Yeah, listen,
right?
People have asked me about that. I say, listen, if you've got a 300 horsepower engine, which is the offensive line of Ohio State, just about anybody can drive it 120 miles an hour. What happens now, who can drive it 140 miles an hour? You know, and that's what they're going to have to drive at 140 when they get into Michigan in these kind of games.
Well, no, I think the key is you drive at 120 and keep it on the road. I think that's one of the keys.
They got a lot of horsepower.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing.
2nd and 3.
Unbalanced line, tackles over.
18-yard line, 8:30 left to go, 3rd quarter. 38-6. And Ohio State happy to keep it on the ground. That's Montgomery, and he's got the first down across the 25 up to the 28, where Bill Ennis-Inge, number 9, there to make the tackle.
Right, you put those big tackles over there, and you hope the defense will stunt back over there and prevent the plays, but you got so much power at the point of attack. You know, they're going to find a place to run. Defensively, you just got to start gambling.
You've got to bring people, blitz them, and say, hey, go ahead and throw. You didn't throw the ball very well in the first half anyway. Go ahead and get after it.
Montgomery earlier this year had a 109-yard rushing day against Rice. Came into the game with only 284 yards in the season. And they told us he was going to get a lot more work today. As timeout taken by Stanley Jackson. 7:58 left to go in the third. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chrysler, exploring the new frontiers of automotive technology. What's new in your world? And Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. 7:58 left to go, third quarter. Ohio State 38, Iowa 6. First and 10, 28-yard line for the Buckeyes. That was D. Miller in motion to the top of your screen. Montgomery trying the left side. He's got blockers out in front. Montgomery out of bounds at the 38-yard line. And let's go down to Jackaroo. Jack?
Hey, guys, I don't know. I'm outmanned here. The good, the bad, the ugly, the three musketeers, Mo, Larry, and Curly. It's college game day here on campus. Lee Corso, what about that first quarter?
Well, the first quarter, I think Ohio State's kicking game. They looked more like Alabama than Alabama did. Playing defense, block, punt, playing great defense. They took the crowd right out of the game with great defense in the first quarter.
Not now, my friend, but give me your answer.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm just honored to be here between a quarterback who's 1-0 here and a coach who is 3-1 here. Iowa, just a slow starting team. The personality holds up. The crowd this morning, not slow starting. The crowd was ready to go out there about 2 hours for our show.
Well, we'll get back to the guy that's 1-0 here and played on this field in just a minute.
All right, Jack. Montgomery now 9 carries, 108 yards off the bench for Ohio State as the measurement. And
you know what his average was in the first half?
What was that?
13.5.
Well,
that's what I mean.
That's the offensive line again, right?
Yes. And he's a good player.
First and 10, 38-yard line.
They're going on Dallas line again, so he's going in motion.
That's D. Myers. Pepe Pearson tries the right side, gets a couple. Let's go back down to Jack.
Look, I got the mic clip fixed. Which one of you guys did this to me? You turned it upside down. Kirk Herbstreit, your observations about Ohio State. Are they truly a national championship contender?
I think they're a contender. I think clearly right now Florida's the best team in the country. But Ohio State today came out, as Coach mentioned, they took advantage of great defensive play. Crowd was into the game, but Ohio State fortunately had defense step up and make some plays.
Now, Coach, we got an important question to ask you. How many steps is it from the press box to the bathroom? We understand you always count that off.
I do it from all over. There's 67 steps from the ESPN game day to the bathroom. At my age, you always got to know that. You know that.
Hey, I agree with you, Larry.
Yeah, well, Dick Vermeil also counts it. He says there's 22 upstairs. One final thought. Your vote for the Heisman.
Heisman Trophy right now has to go to Danny Werfel, but Jake Plummer out of Arizona State deserves some serious consideration.
Chris?
Well, I agree. I think if Werfel keeps winning, he's going to get the trophy, but Jake is the most valuable player in college football.
Okay, now commit. What about Orlando Pace? A big ugly.
Big ugly. He'll win the trophy they call the NFL draft. He'll make 20 times more money than Danny Werfel. But Werfel won the Heisman in the first quarter of the Tennessee game. Those touchdown passes.
Wouldn't you know, Corso's always talking about money.
You're right there, Jack. There's no question about it. But I think the bottom line is #1 draft pick in the NFL. That's very much within reason, Dick.
Oh, yeah, very much so. You know something?
I mean, #1 pick.
I really like Jackaroot's hair today. Doesn't he look good?
You know, he's been out in Hollywood.
He's been out in Hollywood for a couple days doing some stuff.
He's been doing some Hollywood
They did a
time
number
on
on him.
He's been doing some Hollywood time on us. 3rd down and 8. 40-yard line. Jackson plenty of times. Got his receiver right down the middle. No problem right there. Matt Keller, the fullback. Well, there's the Ohio State-Florida comparison. You see the points.
Well, you can see the offense. Florida has a slight edge in yards per game and points scored per game, and defensively the edge goes to Ohio State. If these two teams play, I don't know, but I know this. Florida, you better be able to play pass defense and rush the passer if you're going to beat them. The Spurrier just does a remarkable job with the passing game.
4th down and 1, so Ohio State will punt it. Brent Bartholomew with the wind to his back. Tim Dwight looking to get a chance to do something with the football. He took one back last week against Penn State for a touchdown. He'll go from the 6-yard line here. This field is just slippery. Yeah, just really slippery.
They spent a lot of money resodding part of the golf course instead of the football field. I think it was misspent.
Well, the course looks great, though. I can tell you that.
You golfers are all like that.
Coming up next Saturday here on ABC Sports, Northwestern at Penn State, Washington at USC, Maryland, Clemson, Baylor, Texas. That's coming at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central Time. Check your local listings for the game in your area and all the cable pay-per-view possibilities. Then at noon next Saturday, Nebraska at Oklahoma, Michigan State at Michigan. A couple of real traditional rivalries there. I was glad to see John Blake get a couple of wins. They came back pretty strong against Kansas State today before the. And there's a team that's not talked about much. Kansas State, their only loss to Nebraska this year.
We saw the game. They didn't play well. They played similar to Iowa playing today in their big opportunity.
1st and 10, 9-yard line. First man through. Big fullback, Berger, look at him go. Across the 25 to the 26-yard line, and Sean Springs finally brought him down.
You know, they fake the eye toss, and everyone gets a little flow. They're going to throw the ball to the tailback, and he comes up right inside. Now, you'll see the tailback flow this way. He's going to play, and he comes right up inside. The linebacker's over pursuit. He flips it out there and gives it to him. See, Katzenmeyer, they got him. That showed he has a little freshman left in him right there.
You know, both of these teams, Dick, feature fullbacks that are blockers first and runners second.
Yeah.
That's the longest run of the day for Iowa. 19 yards on that pickup from Michael Berger, the sophomore from Harlan, Iowa. 1st and 10, 27-yard line. Knipper. Man in motion. They're going to pitch it back. He got it.
He's got it.
He's got a couple of blockers. Can he cut it up? Caught from behind. Look at who caught him. Matt Finkus. Look at Finkus. Came all the way from the line of scrimmage and caught the speedster.
That's why he came into the ball game with 209 tackles. There isn't a spot on the field that he hasn't made a play in his career. Here's the reverse play. They're going to pitch it back to him. Instead of the option, it goes to him. Now he's got the ball tucked away, and here comes old Demo. Get good blocking downfield, but Finkus will show up here at number 92 and make the play. There isn't a spot on the field that this young man in his career hasn't made a tackle. Nice going, young man.
23 yards on the pickup. Odoms had his career day against Ohio State last year. 5 catches, 110 yards in that losing effort. As the handoff up the middle to Aaron Granquist, and let's go to New York. John, what do you got for the play of the day?
Not just the play of the day, but the Burger King play of the day. It's Warwick Dunn from the Florida State-Virginia game at his own 35. A nice cutback there, runs into one of his own players and then just takes off, and then the speed. Warwick Dunn, 65 yards on the touchdown run. That is the Burger King play of the day. It's 21-17. Roger.
I like it, John. I like it. Boy, I love the way that kid runs. Effortless style. 2nd and 6, 46-yard line. Banks trying the near side. Banks gets it up to the 43-yard line.
You know, he's filled in nicely for Cedric Shaw, who was injured with the rib cartilage problem, and Tavian Banks stepped in and played real well. Came in the ball game, averaging 5.3 yards a carry.
Well, he's got 9 rushing touchdowns on the year. Yeah. 16 in his career. That's his first carry today. Nate Dartman's undefeated in the Ivy League.
Oh, I'm impressed with your knowledge.
Missouri wins in overtime against Oklahoma. Good win for Larry Smith. He's trying to rebuild that program. 1st and 10, 38-yard line. That's Willick, the motion man to the near side, as Banks is grabbed around the ankles by Greg Belisari. They had to move him to a different position to get Katzenmoyer in there this year.
They did. Well, you know, Greg Belisari played the inside linebacker spot last year and played it well. But as bright as he is, you can play him at any linebacker spot from week to week, and he would play without mistakes. But that allowed Andy Katzenmeyer to play inside, which is an easier position to break into the defense than the outside linebacker position. It's more instinctive inside than outside.
4:10 left to go, 3rd quarter, 32-point Ohio State lead. As Carter is a motion man to the top of your screen, they'll go out to him. He makes the catch at the 29-yard line. Going to be just shy of the 1st down. Carter Number 4 is from Passaic, New Jersey. And if you look at this Iowa roster, Dick, there are a number of kids from the state of New Jersey and the state of Texas.
Well, Hayden Fry, of course, started his coaching career in high school in the state of Texas, and he's always been recruiting New Jersey guys successful. I can remember all the years that I've come here, they've always had successful players from New Jersey area.
Got 15 Texans on the roster.
And he still has little Texas left in him.
Oh, there's no question. You're from the Panhandle.
Yeah.
3rd down, less than a yard to go at the 29. Banks gets it, and he doesn't get it.
Yeah, he doesn't get it. He didn't look like he wanted to turn it on, or else he was hit before he got it turned on.
Down at the bottom of the pile is Finkus.
There's their Finkus.
I remember a kid they had a couple of years ago, Jason Simmons. And Finkus and Vrabel remind me of him. They're a little bit bigger than Dick.
Yeah, and we saw Jason Simmons at Kansas City training camp this year.
Yeah.
I saw him at the Redskins training camp a couple of years ago, too. Yeah, this is their best drive, really, of the ball game. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Roger. I think it is, isn't it?
It is, but I don't think down 32 they want to be eating the clock up right now.
Better than throwing interceptions.
4th down, and a long 2. Dwight's the man in motion. Sherman's going to go to Dwight. Look at the catch. Yeah. He's a terrific athlete.
Yes, he is. But see, they haven't gotten the ball in his hands enough times to allow him to make the difference.
Dick, if you're the coach coming in against Iowa, you would want to keep the ball out of his hands, wouldn't you?
Oh, no question. See, he came in motion, pulled the defense in, then jumped back out, turned around, came outside. He got good blocking. There was a nice throwing lane, no one between the quarterback and the receiver, and he leaps up and puts it down for the 1st down. This guy is, we've said many times, very talented. And you know, he's a strong guy, too.
You know, there was a nice block that time by Rodney Filer, who's just checked into the game, number 34, senior from Waco. Missed a lot of time this year because of knee surgery. And there's the reverse. Look at Sherman's out there to block for him. One man to beat.
Well, I'll tell you what, touchdown Iowa, and give some credit out there. The big number 76, Matt Reichel, and the quarterback, Matt Sherman, but it was Reichel that paved the way in as Dwight takes it in for the touchdown from 19 yards out.
Think they'll go for 2?
What's your chart say?
It doesn't go for that much. Well, they got him running. They got him running. They got the gaps filled up with the defense. Got them all flowing strong side there, and then went the other way with the football. Blocked the contain man.
2nd rushing touchdown of the year for Tim Dwight, the junior, from right here in Iowa City. I'll tell you, nobody's left.
No, they are going for 2. They are going for 2.
As they'll line up Filer and Banks behind quarterback Matt Sherman. That's Willick, number 25 in motion. And the throw is low. So the 2-point conversion no good for Iowa. Here's a look at Dwight getting the block and taking it for 6. Dick, after this game today, Ohio State has Minnesota, Illinois, and Indiana before their big game against Michigan.
Well, really, yeah, the only people that can beat these people are themselves. If they mentally don't concentrate, and they have to get better by the time they play Michigan. Last year, they didn't get better, they got beat.
And they don't have to play Northwestern as we take a look at the standings, so Ohio State really controls their destiny.
No question.
Well, it's going to be exciting coming down to the finish as Iowa kicks it off. Demetrius Stanley takes it, breaks one tackle, spins at the 30, gets a few more, pulled to the 34-yard line.
Robbie Tyne, number 31, the young man that threw the pass last week in the ballgame from the running back position, came down as a special teams player and made a nice pop there, Roger.
And in the Big Ten today, Northwestern and Illinois and the Wildcats win it by 3. Penn State over Indiana. Michigan State, where Wisconsin had to be flat after that devastating loss a week ago to Northwestern.
And I'll tell you, I studied them on film closely in preparation for last week's broadcast, and they're a good football team. They've lost some tough football games, and sooner or later, you'll lose it for a week emotionally. And I think that's what happened to them.
Ohio State quarterback Stanley Jackson, the junior from Patterson, New Jersey.
They got tackled over again.
34-yard line. Big tackles are on the right side. They give it to Montgomery. Look at the hole. Look at him go. Montgomery across midfield to the 46-yard line. And Jack, what do you got about Stanley?
You know, when the season opened, a lot of people thought it was going to be between Jackson and Jermaine, maybe a co-quarterback thing. Well, Joe Hollis, the offensive coordinator, said one of the things that made Jackson stand out was his team leadership. You know, in the off-season, during the summer, the coaches can't be involved in workouts or conditioning or drills. The guy that got everybody up to go through passing drills and receiving drills every day was Stanley Jackson. Hollis says that's the kind of leadership that gave him the helm.
All right, Jack, thanks. First and 10, 46-yard line as the handoff goes to Montgomery again on the right side. One of the other things the coaches told us is that Jermaine gives Jackson that edge. As long as he gets some playing time, Stanley's attention is very much focused on the football.
He maintains his concentration. You know, he knows that Jermaine is sitting there and that he plays well, and they're good buddies, that's for sure, but he knows that he better play well because he knows Jermaine can play well.
Remaining schedule, Minnesota, then at Illinois, at Indiana, and then Michigan here on ABC the 23rd.
And the first time they take one of those games for granted, they'll get their fantasy book. They just can't do that.
Second down and 4 from the 40-yard line. That's David Boston. The man in motion to the near side and dragged down behind the line of scrimmage, Pepe Pearson, and all over him was Jared DeVries. I'll tell you, they've got 3 outstanding sophomore defensive players, Rollins, Hughes, and DeVries. DeVries last year as a freshman, 54 tackles and 12 sacks. He's from Applington, Iowa, 6'4", 260 pounder. Bob Elliott said he's just a free spirit. I just tell him to go get the quarterback. He does his own thing. And want to remind you, Tom Lehman is leading the Tour Championship. You can catch the final round tomorrow here on ABC Sports at 3 Eastern, 2 Central, and Pacific time. Third down and 7. Iowa Hawkeye faithful trying to get their team pumped up defensively. And they do. Down at the 49-yard line, and DeVries again. We'll return with more action between Ohio State and Iowa after this message and a word from our ABC stations. As we start the fourth quarter at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, Roger Twaddle, Dick Vermeil, Jack Arud with you. 4th and 13. Iowa will have the wind at their back in this final quarter. They trail by 26 points. There have been bigger comebacks in college football, but not against this quality of team. Penalty marker goes down. Dwight takes it to the outside. He's got it! Look at the speed! He's gone! Touchdown, Iowa! Penalty marker down. The officials are conferring. 91 yards on the return. It's going to go against Ohio State. I don't think they gave enough room to catch it. Yes. Yes, touchdown Iowa, 91 yards for consecutive weeks. Tim Dwight has taken a punt back for a touchdown, and with that punt return for 91 yards, he surpasses a record set by Niall Kinnick for most punt return yards in a year. Yeah, man was too close to him, but.
And, you know, the advantage of having 2 safeties back there, you have a safety that can move in. He didn't get a great block, but he made the guy get out of his coverage lane. No contained by Ohio State in their punt coverage, and they've been doing a good job of covering punts coming into this ballgame, only giving up 6.5 yards. But that guy, you could see the speed. Once he broke contained, which didn't exist, you aren't going to catch him. He can fly.
I mean, the Jets were turned on.
Have you ever seen a guy, people that can run had an angle on him and it couldn't catch him?
Listen, when he got to the corner last week against Penn State, he just left everybody. Everybody that had an angle didn't have a shot. About 4 guys had an angle this time. They couldn't come close. 4.3 40 speed. And of course, Iowa's going to go for 2. 38-18. Excuse me, they've changed it now officially. 86 yards on the return. And he now has got 349 yards in punt return yardage on the year.
And that's a new record.
And now something's been thrown down on the field. A little Nerf football has been thrown down and immediately comes off. So 86 yards on the punt return for the touchdown. Sherman. Really in motion. As they'll throw it out to Banks. He's in for 2. 38-20. And we'll take it a break with Tim Dwight taking it all the way. Some sights and sounds from Iowa City. We've had a couple of exciting moments here today. Be alert. Early to kick it off, and they'll go ahead and send it deep. Into the back. Sean Springs will down it, and they'll bring it out to the 20. Tim Dwight, 351 punt return yards, single season record. And Jack, what do you got for us?
Well, remember now, Tim Dwight is playing his 7th different position for the Iowa Hawkeyes. During the course of career, played tailback, wingback, defensive back, wedge buster, head-on tackler, kick returner, punt returner. But let me tell you, he says there's been a big difference in changing his thinking from being a tailback to a receiver. And he told me, he says, you know, it's like when a cucumber turns into a pickle. You don't see it, it just happens.
Oh, thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
First and 10 from the 20. Now the crowd is back into it, Dick. Penalty marker goes down. Penalty marker down. As Montgomery carries it to the 25. Gain of about 5. Penalty against Ohio State.
Now, I really believe defensively, Bob Elliott, the coordinator, is just got to just turn it all loose. I mean, just take some chances, gamble, use the blitz package that he hasn't even used yet, but get him involved. The person on the left there is the famous quarterback from here, was Chuck Long, and here coaches the secondary now.
Put 3 seconds back on the 3 seconds.
So Dick Honig instructs the clock operator to put 3 seconds back on the clock. So the 5-yard penalty, take it back to 15. It'll be first down and 15 in this crowd here. They were here early. They departed early. Now they're back late. Now you got to give them something to cheer about, Dick. They've gotten something now. There hasn't been much today. Not a very good performance to this point by Iowa. But the Tim Dwight punt return has given them something to cheer about, and not much happening there. Gain of about 3 by Pepe Pearson.
You know, when the crowd gets involved and the team that gets excited, it's amazing how much 11-man performance can come up. And all of a sudden, they're back taking on blockers more physically with more intensity and running through blocks and getting there. Instead of a 10-yard gain, it's a 2-yard gain.
It's an intangible. There's no way you can formulate it. There's no way you can tell that your team will react in a certain way. But it's just something that when that crowd gets going, these kids feel it, and everything moves up a notch. Second down and 13.
They got linebackers over defense. It's tough to run strong side. They're going to throw it.
Jackson eludes 2 tacklers. Jackson coming to the near side. He'll run it out of bounds at the 22. And let's go to New York and John Saunders. John, what do you got for us?
A good one in Boulder between Colorado and Texas. James Brown, 2 yards here to Matt Davis. And Texas grabs the lead once again. 24-21. There's about 12 minutes left in the game. Roger.
John, thank you very much. We've got 13:55 left to go in this game, and since Iowa allowed a field goal to Arizona on the first play of the 4th quarter in the season opener, Dick, they have not allowed a 4th quarter point since. That bodes well, and the defensive players take pride in that.
They do.
3rd down and 8.
They got everybody up there coming after him.
Lumpkin loses it. He had it in his hands. Pass is incomplete. Kerry Cooks was there on the coverage. And they'll have to punt the football to Iowa.
Bobby Elliott at that time really gets aggressive, lines everybody up tight, and here there's a mismatch physically, and he breaks away clean, but Brooks recovers off the push-off maybe by the tight end and is able to strip him from the ball. But they did go ahead and get after him, Roger.
Bartholomew will punt it. Into the wind.
Beautiful punt. It's good hang time. It's up there.
Dwight's going to take it at the 30. He's got something to the near side. He cuts it back to the middle. Tim Dwight eludes another tackle. Tim Dwight inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. He's a one-man band today, folks. Dick?
It was a very good high punt. The ball should have been able to be covered, but there's nobody down there, and they're not coming to balance when they get down there. Maybe the coverage team is getting tired, but I'll tell you this, he's not getting tired. Old number 6, 43-yard return, Timmy Dwight, is stuffing it down their throat.
And great field position now for the Hawkeyes. 27-yard line, 1st and 10. Pitch it back. They got some room on this side. Odoms down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line.
You know, the defense has lost an edge on quickness. Maybe they're a little bit tired. They've been rushing the passer a lot. They have not substituted the defense, and I don't see the quickness that I saw in the first half and early 3rd quarter. They're sagging a little bit. Their hands are on their hips. Their helmets are down. The Hawkeyes have got them sucking wind.
And I'll tell you what, Dick, Iowa takes great pride in their conditioning and the fact that they are a good second-half team and an even better fourth-quarter team. 1st down and 10. Ball spotted just inside the 15-yard line. Sherman checks off at the line of scrimmage. Cedric Shaw grabbed from behind as he gets to the 11. Right there was Andy Katzenmoyer.
Boy, he's made some plays. And, you know, offensively now, they're doing things that they didn't do early. They're just running off tackle to the weak side of the formation that time, opposite the tight end. Fullback lead, bang, 4-yard gain. Mentally, they're in, I think, an edge right now over the Buckeyes. They feel that they've gained control of the game. They just waited too long.
There you go, 5 games. Iowa came from behind 4 times to win. 12:55 left to go, 38-20. Ohio State leads it. 2nd down and 7 at the 11-yard line. Remember, the motion man, Shaw's got it, and a nice play coming in from the weak side. Antoine Winfield, who started at the corner spot in place of Ty Howard today, comes in to make the tackle.
See, there he was on the tight end side of the formation, short side of the field. Winfield was, and he blitzed. He came off the corner. You don't account for that man in your normal blocking scheme on that type of a play, and he came around the corner and made it. Don't take any chances offensively now. You're thinking 1st down, not touchdown, or 2 downs for the 1st down. But you don't take a chance here. Don't take a sack, and don't turn it over.
3rd and 6. Odoms and Dwight split to the near side. Now they send 18 Damon Gibson out to the top of your screen.
Now they got a strong safety on a wide receiver.
He's going to Gibson. He fell down when he made his cut.
Hell with that golf course. He went out there on Thursday and watching him practice here. The guys fell down a number of times.
Dick, do you take 3 points here or you to go for it?
Oh, I go for it.
Well, you need 3 scores.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
38-20.
They called the right thing. He just slipped. They got in the right formation. They had the 3rd receiver out there on a strong safety because 3 receivers.
Iowa wants a timeout as Matt Sherman's going to come over the sidelines. So they've used their 1st timeout of the 2nd half, and we'll remind you tomorrow night on ABC, an hour of America's funniest home videos, followed by an all-new Lois and Clark. Then Harrison Ford stars with Samuel L. Jackson and Ann Archer in Tom Clancy's Patriot Games. That's all tomorrow night here on ABC. Well, I'm glad for these fans here on Parents' Day that this Iowa football team has come back and put some excitement into this thing.
There's some happy.
Hey, they're paying all that tuition, Dick. I'm glad they're smiling right now. All right, so you're. There he is, right here, 38-20. Go for it on fourth down and six.
I agree with what they did and the play that they called. The guy just turns to run the out pattern, and he slips. This is ryegrass out there right now, and it's slick.
And want to remind you, if time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. Scores and highlights from across the country with John and Todd. What about adjustments by the Iowa coaching staff? They've been known for that this year. Have they done some adjustments, or has it been getting Tim Dwight?
Emotional adjustment. It's Tim Dwight adjustment with punt return. He rejuvenated. Fred Pudgick right there calling defense. He's excited right now, trying to get the defense going. And I'll tell you this, as a coach, when you lose your emotional edge that you've had, it is really tough to get it back. Somebody on the field has to bring it back for you, like Tim Dwight did offensively for the Hawkeyes.
Dwight is split to the near side. Sherman looking down here. Odoms! He's got the first down to the 1. Iowa 3 of 3 today on fourth down conversions. Belisari was there to make the tackle, and Demo Odoms. Demosthenes, Odoms the third.
Real good design. You see the man going in motion out there, and then they'll bring the receiver back underneath him. He'll go out. Now you see the receiver at the top of the screen will come underneath him. There he is coming underneath him. He cleaned him out. Good design, good call. And normally down in this red zone area inside the 10-yard line, you have that program. This is what you want to do inside the 10 in the pacing game. And here comes old Orlando Pace.
Number 75 is going to line up over the left tackle, and now all of a sudden Sherman wants a timeout.
Yeah, well, I looked down there and saw Orlando Pace. I might want a timeout.
He's come in a couple of times this year on defense. We have got a timeout. 11:31 left to go, and Iowa's knocking on the door.
Sounds good to me.
College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Discus Athletic Activewear. Discus Athletic, the one thing to wear for every sport. Circuit City, the choice for price, selection, and service. And Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. Roger Twibell, Dick Vermeil, Jack Arud with you, and Iowa has got it. First and goal at the 1-yard line, trailing by 18 with 11:30 left to go. Shaw's the deep back. Dwight comes in motion now. Cedric Shaw leans in. No call.
Cedric Shaw. I would not have run an Orlando Pace.
Good point.
You know,
very good
run
point.
The other way. If you're game planning, I mean, you have that same play mirrored going the other way. I wouldn't have run over there. You know, there's just too much beat there. You're not going to knock him out of there. He's going to stay on the line of scrimmage somewhere. There's going to be a pile, and it's going to be a pile created by 360 pounds.
Now the ball now, the nose of the ball nearly touching the goal line.
Now he's in that center guard gap.
Second and goal. Berger. Touchdown! Michael Berger.
From up here, I'm sitting at a bad angle, but it didn't look like he scored.
Well, he's 6'3 and a half, 230 pounds.
Here we are, right on the line of scrimmage. You judge it. He didn't get close. He didn't get close. But that guy, yeah, the guy's got his arms up over there, lives in Iowa. Not a good call, but that's all right. They'd have scored on the next play. Anyway.
Well, even now, we had a questionable fumble call earlier today. But
here we go, 2-point play.
An Ohio State touchdown.
All right, this is a bunch formation, Roger. There's a combination pattern to the, ladies and gentlemen, the top of your screen. 3 people to try to get it over there. They take away good pressure that time.
Can he get in? He can't. Knocked out of bounds. Sherman.
Again.
That's the second 2-point conversion they've missed.
Katzenmoyer again. Boy, has he made some plays.
12-point ball game, 38-26.
Yeah, they're a bunch. They got 3 receivers in there tight, and they wanted to get it out there. Knipper's down in the hole. They wanted to try to throw the ball outside. He lost concentration on the tight end going down there. And see it. He just can't see everything.
It was.
I watched them practice that, Raj, on the field the other day.
Yeah, I know. We were watching that very formation. Dick, it was 38-6. Ohio State, 11:28 left in the third quarter. It is now 38-26. So 20 unanswered points for Iowa. And maybe Hayden Fry told them to think about last year. Think of what we did.
Yeah, it still goes back to a young man igniting this football team, getting them off their butt, getting their head back in the game, quit feeling sorry for themselves, and come back and battle. Plus, I think the Buckeyes are sucking wind a little bit. I think they've lost some gas. The toughest thing for a head coach to do now is to bring his team back in the game now. And it can't come from him. It has to come from a player on the field that does for the Buckeyes what Tim Blight did for the Hawkeyes.
Brian Hurley to kick it off. Sean Springs and Adrian Stanley, yeah, with the wind behind him. Yeah.
Now let's see if the Hawkeye defense can do that.
Well, I want to remind you tonight on ESPN, the Miami Hurricanes will take on unbeaten West Virginia. It's a battle for the top spot in the Big East. That's tonight at 7 Eastern, only on ESPN. And Arizona State, the 4th-ranked team in the country, they move it to 41-9. And that's the most wins for Bruce Snyder in his tenure at Arizona State.
Is one heck of a football coach. We saw him do the same thing at Cal.
The crowd, 70,000 plus, 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Pepe Pearson up the middle. Pearson will get about 3. Now, how aggressive can Ohio State be right now? I mean, did they try to ground it out?
No. I think with the momentum totally going the other way, I think they've got to go ahead and go to their entire offensive package. And they came in the ball game with the premise that they were going to throw the ball quickly on 3-step drop. Get into that kind of stuff and challenge it. If they get the ball in the hands of any of their wide receivers, they can do the same thing. They can make the big play with the ball in their hands. But 3 guys have been tough in that 4th quarter.
Allowed in the first game of the year to Arizona. There's the second-half possessions for Ohio State, the touchdown after the Shaw fumble on the first play of the second half. 2nd down and 7. Calhoun is the fullback.
They got a lot of people up there that better throw it.
They're going to roll Jackson out. He's got a man open, goes to his knees. They've got the first down at the 38-yard line. That's the freshman David Boston from Humboldt, Texas.
And
now, we talked about that 4th quarter defense, and Matt Hughes talked about the pride they take in it.
4th quarter is our quarter, we say, and it's the most important quarter of the game. I mean, a lot of teams get tired in the 4th quarter. We pride ourselves in just excelling in the 4th quarter and dominating people.
That's a sophomore from Eastland, Texas, the leading tackler on the team. 1st and 10, 38-yard line. 9:25 to go. Pepe Pearson again up the middle. He's able to break away from a couple of tacklers. Looked like Aaron Klein, the first man to get to him.
And getting away from the approach of audibling like they normally do. See, they didn't audible that time. And that time, Bob Elliott had the defense totally shifted over toward the tight end, the side with which the Buckeyes ran. Too many people to block to run the ball efficiently against that defense. They've got to get back into their audible principle and go back away from it.
I think if Ohio State is a championship football team, they take the football right now and they drive down and score a touchdown.
And that's what John Cooper is walking up down the sideline for. He's heading toward the end zone. I don't know if any of the offensive players are.
2nd and 7, 41-yard line. Stanley comes in motion to the near side. Pepe Pearson again. Pepe Pearson gets about 3 to the 44-yard line where Matt Hughes and Jared DeVries are there.
And this is where you really have an advantage if you're an offensive coordinator like Joe Hollis at Ohio State. When it's gut time, you have the physical ability just to whip people physically. You don't have to outsmart anybody. Just put the ball in your best ball carrier's hand and put the responsibility on the beat. Let him go after it.
3rd down and 4.
Bob Elliott, defensive coordinator, I'll bet you he goes ahead and attacks him. He'll play him tough, play him short, 8-man up.
Split backs this time for Ohio State.
Jackson knocked up in the air and incomplete. Beautiful defensive play by Tom Knight, the left corner.
That tight, aggressive coverage, and Tommy is an outstanding corner. And watching game tapes on this young man, he can get up there, bump you, and take you on one-on-one. He'll challenge you. See, he has real good speed. He's got his hands on him right there. That's legal as long as you don't interfere. Excellent coverage all the way. You would like to meet your Stanley number 3 to come back for the ball a little bit more and pull away from the defender. Excellent coverage by Tommy Knight.
Bartholomew standing back at about the 32-yard line, and there is the man of the day for Iowa, Tim Dwight, inside the 20. Let's see if they kick it away from him. Yes, they do.
Only one guy down there covering.
Odoms runs into his own man. He ran into Dwight, who was trying to get a block for him. Iowa will have it at the 19 when we come back.
He made that.
Tim Dwight is lined up at wide receiver. He's lined up at running back. He has returned punts today. He has been the emotional leader, and he's led by example. Tim Dwight, the junior from right here in Iowa City, has single-handedly brought his team back in to this football game. Total all-purpose yardage, 207, Dick, on the day.
He can get it done.
Wow.
But that doesn't surprise you, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
We talked about it at the top. They had to get him the football. He had to get the football. 38, 26, 7, 34. Left to go. Quick handoff to Berger. Yeah, he's got the football. Berger across the 25 to the 26. And Jack, what have you got for us?
Roger, you were talking about conditioning. We watched on that exchange from defense to offense by Iowa, and likewise on the reverse side of the ball by Ohio State. Let me tell you what happened. Ohio State, their defense walked out. Iowa, they ran out. It's obvious right now that emotion is playing a part in this game, but emotion and conditioning, I think, goes to the Iowa side right now.
But time is a factor right now. Under 7 minutes to go. Iowa with just one timeout remaining. They trail by 12 as they've got it 2nd and 3. Plenty of time. Throw it to Banks. Banks has got the first down across the 30 to the 32. Dick, you made a good point a few moments ago about the punt coverage for Ohio State.
Well, the guy that made the tackle on the punt coverage was Matt Finkus, the defensive end. Vrabel's on the punt coverage. And these guys are great, courageous, tough, gutty football players, but they've been asked to cover punts and play defense and stay. Time of possession in the first half was in favor of the Hawkeyes. They've been on the field a lot, and maybe they are a little tired. That's humanly possible.
That's a good point. 1st and 10, 32-yard line. The clock is a big factor right now. As Banks finds nothing on the left side. Maybe loses a yard.
Vrabel did a real nice job of taking on 2 people and stringing it out, and then Katzenmeyer comes in there and makes the play.
Well, Dick, you tell me, you're the former coach. When do you have to hurry it up here? You've got just about 6 minutes left to go in this football game.
Yeah, I would hurry it up a little bit right now, Roger, personally. I think the tempo was a little bit slow, especially when you feel that the defense is second. Yeah. Put the heat on it. Get after it.
2nd down and 10. Odoms comes to the near side. Oh, he got the ball back. He initially threw it. Now he eludes a couple of tacklers. And look who gets him from behind. Katzenmoyer comes and gets him because he had a lot of open space in front of him.
Is he quick? Unbelievable. See, they got in the bare defensive man front, 8 people up there. They covered everybody man-to-man. He couldn't find it, but they pressed him, and Katzenmoyer now comes inside out and makes the play. Unbelievable. This guy is so good, so poised for a true freshman. Last year at this time, he played a high school game on Friday night.
That's right, Westerville, Ohio. 3rd down and 13. 4:58 left to go. Sherman's got to go downfield with it. Now, he throws it, and not nearly enough for the first down. It's 36, Aaron Grandquist.
See, they get him 2 tight ends, 2 wideouts, and they send 2 receivers out because they want maximum protection, giving time to throw, and they cover the 2 guys that they've got out. He has no place to throw the
When do
football.
you go to a different package?
Coach, I would have done it a while ago.
All right. Now it's 4th and 7. Look who's staying in there. Sherman is still in there.
4th and 7 here.
4:25 left to go. Play action on 4th and 7. Throwing it near side. Catch is made. Yes, it's good. Carter with the reception, and it's a first down for Iowa. I'll tell you, Sherman put a little bit of something on the football that time to get it there.
He had to. That's a long, long throw, and especially coming off play action passing. He's going to fake to the tailback, try to hold the linebackers inside. Franks does a nice job of picking up Katzenmeyer, and he had to really heave that all the way to the sideline. That's a long, long throw.
I want to see that again on the sideline. If we can see it, make sure that he was...
All right. I'm sure he had his foot in. There it is.
Okay, got it. Now on 1st and 10, Dwight is being chased all the way back. Skids comes back to the near side. He turned nothing into nothing again.
Vrabel did a good job this time. They've had the reverse run on him successfully twice. They went to the well too many times. Plus, those kind of plays take so much time. You know, you're eating up clock with your offense with the ball in the hand of people that take so much time.
And as you said, they have seen that reverse on a number of occasions today. Yeah. I'll tell you, Dwight just did a great job to get a little something back because he was really trapped back about the 30-yard line. He was able to get about 10 more yards, but that brings up now 2nd down and 18.
The best way to describe him, he's just a football.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He probably played corner.
3:18 left to go. Otis stays in motion. Watch out from the weak side. He's down. Pincus.
And he had people open, too. He had people open down there. Well, I'll tell you, Richard Carter was all alone in the middle. He's looking back over at the coach and talking to him. And Pincus is a little bit exhausted or a little bit banged up right now, but he has played so hard, there may not be much fuel left in the bucket. You know, the tank is running empty.
3 minutes left to go. And it'll be a 3rd down and 25.
Bill Davis and the rest of the trainers out here, real good medical staff there at Ohio State, checking him out. Maybe a cramp. Look at he's tucking, boy. He has played so hard, so many snaps.
So now Fink is up, making his way off the field. Well, I think you're right. I mean, these guys have played their guts out today.
And see, Vrabel was not in there in that last play. They had Jeff Wilson in there playing in his spot because he probably is a little bit exhausted. But I guarantee this, he has earned a scholarship today.
91 checks into the game. That's Jeff Wilson, who you just mentioned. So 3rd down and 25 at the 32-yard line.
And Vrabel comes back in. Now they're sagging, playing a loose zone back there.
Sherman coming near side. Once again, he finds number 4 over there, Richard Carter.
See, you can afford to go ahead and give him that 15-yard out pattern with this situation, the score, what it is, and that kind of thing. You can afford to give it to him. They can't give him just the one play score. See, even at that, it's still 4th down.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th down and looks like about 11 yards. They need to get to the 42-yard line.
Well, now I think the time would be to come up and press the 2 wide receivers and then back them up with 2 safeties. Don't give them the free throw. It doesn't look like they're going to do that.
Iowa 4 of 4 today.
Coming after him
down. Sherman, can he elude all these players? Can he elude them? Finally just has to throw it away as Ryan Miller got to him. So the 4th down effort by Iowa State.
That was a good defensive call.
Puts to rest.
See what they did, Roger, is they brought the linebackers outside and they dropped defensive linemen out to play zone coverage inside. The old zone blitz principle. And you get pressure outside, no pressure inside, but the pressure from the outside flushed it.
I'll tell you, you know, Iowa had some of their backup offensive linemen in on that series trying to give their guys some rest. So the ball will turn over to Ohio State at the 46-yard line with 2:37 left to go in Iowa with just 1 timeout remaining.
they might use it right away to stop the clock. He's got good leg strength, doesn't he?
Well, he sure
has
does.
good leg strength, and he can really pull those feet through tackles, arm tackles. You better get your pads on this young man. Tim Spencer, the running back coach at Ohio State, told me last night that they were going to play this guy more because they really feel that he has started to mature and become a true running back, and he's demonstrated that today.
Tennessee has beaten Alabama as we check some scores.
They were across. They were down earlier. There's Tim Spencer, who's a fine running back here himself, and in the National Football League.
Played in the USFL too.
Yeah.
That was a first down. Good pickup there of about 12 yards that time by Montgomery. Well, it's nice to know that you've got a guy playing behind a Pat McPherson that you can trust, ensure that he's going to get you some good yardage. Boy, if you got two solid backs, you can just run them all day long. Montgomery's got it again. Now they've just got to protect the football with 2 minutes underneath 2. So we're at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, Iowa, where on this Saturday afternoon, Ohio State came in, and the University of Iowa was able to rise up defensively on the first couple of series, but then their offense started struggling, turning the football over. And Ohio State looked like they were going to take this game and just absolutely run away with it. But then, at 38-6 in the third quarter, Iowa started coming back, and they came back, and they got within 12. But now, with the clock running and 1:23 left to go, and 1 timeout remaining, Montgomery will get another first down inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. And this valiant effort by these Iowa Hawkeyes to try to come back in the second half against this second-rated team in the nation. It will fall short.
It would have been a better effort never to fall that far behind in the first half. They just played poorly. That's all there is to it.
And just think about the fumble on the first play of the second half, which led to the touchdown. 31-6 at halftime.
You know, you coach for a long time, which I did for a long time, and sometimes you get coaching in your career, and you think you as a coach are immune to these kind of games, but nobody is. Nobody is.
First and 10, 24-yard line. Ohio State.
They're pressuring real close.
The Buckeyes will be at home against Minnesota next week. Meanwhile, Iowa will be at Illinois, and we'll be back in just a moment. Well, Dick, 2 years in a row, Iowa has spotted Ohio State a big lead. You just can't do it to as good a football team as the Buckeyes.
You normally can't do that to an average team.
So on second down and 7, Jackson will just take a knee, and the Chevrolet most valuable players in the game are from Ohio State, Damon Moore, and from Iowa, Tim Dwight. Moore with 3 interceptions, 9 tackles. Dwight with 2 touchdowns and 199 all-purpose yards. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. Congratulations to those 2 players. They both really stood out in this contest today. 10 seconds. And Ohio State has been taken to task the last couple of weeks. They were taken to task here late in the game today, but they continue to win. They've improved their record to 7-0 as they beat Iowa 38-26. And here are the conference standings. Northwestern at 5-0, Ohio State at 4-0. Iowa falls to 3-1. Michigan with just 1 loss, and Michigan State with just 1 loss. And if you missed the score today, log on to College Football Today live on America Online. The key word, and it's always key, folks, ABC Sports. And tomorrow, the Tour Championship. Final round coverage at 3 Eastern. For Jack Arute, Dick Vermeil, I'm Roger Twyville. Thanks so much for being with you. 38-26 the final.